Chapter 467. Lu Long's face darkened when he heard Run Liangshan's words. He thought that Ren Liangshan would forgive him after he apologized and belittled him. However, Ren Liangshan did not forgive him and even slapped him. How could he accept such an insult? Don't go too far. I just threw the Netherwater Shark's body to the side. I didn't throw it to you on purpose. Now that things had come to this, Lu Long was still denying it in every possible way. It was truly disgusting. Under normal circumstances, when killing a demonic beast, at most, it would be thrown to the side. How could it be thrown to the side of them? This was really casual. Do you think we're idiots? Or do you think we're idiots? Tianyin looked at him calmly. Sometimes, you have to be responsible for your own actions. I'll give you a chance to jump down and swim back up. I'll pretend that nothing happened. Lu Long's face changed. What was the difference between that and suicide? The Netherwater here was more terrifying than the outside. If he swam back up, he would be crippled even if he didn't die. Especially in such a dangerous place. How long would it take for him to recover? This place was constantly being attacked by the black gas. If no one protected him, he would definitely die. His companions who came with him might not be able to protect him all the time. Ren Liangshan and the others looked at each other. They did not expect Tianyin to be so ruthless, but they liked it. Yes, as long as you swim back up, we won't pursue this matter anymore. Otherwise, Ren Liangshan's eyes turned cold. The three of them were filled with killing intent. What happened earlier was almost the same as trying to kill them, so it was reasonable for them to kill him. They were already being merciful by only letting him swim down. At least he would have a chance to survive. It seems like you really want to fight with me. Do you really think I'm a pushover? Lu Long's eyes were extremely cold. He turned his head and looked at the people on the side. Do you want to know how to get out of this death mist? Let me tell you, this death mist is very dangerous. If you're not careful, you'll die. But I know how to get out of here. As long as you fight with me, I'll give you the map. In order to save himself, Lu Long immediately asked for help from the other team. There were only 3 people left on their side. They were in a very bad situation. They were poisoned by the Netherwater Shark's attack, and now they had to face 4 people at the same time. Without a doubt, they could not deal with them, so they had to ask the other team for help. The other team had 3 core transformation stage cultivators, and they seemed to be quite reliable. However, no one knew what was going on with them. Tianyin and the others looked over there. They want to see what they have to say. A map, huh? If it's just a map, then the reward is too low. The middle-aged man in the lead shook his head. He felt that the reward was too low. At the very least, you need to add some weapons. Otherwise, if you want the 3 of us hunting tiger to take action, the price is too low. You are the Lihu brothers? Ren Liangshan's face darkened. Tianyin didn't know who the tiger hunting brothers were, but judging from Ren Liangshan's expression, he knew that they weren't ordinary people. All of them were above level 6 or level 7 of the core transformation stage, which was a very powerful cultivation level. Previously, he had noticed that the few of them had killed the deep water shark quite easily, and those who had come with them had all died. However, the 3 brothers had no problem, which showed their strength. The 3 of them have done all kinds of evil things. They often kidnap young girls and humiliate them. Recently, they had killed their way into a sect and committed all sorts of evil deeds. They had even insulted the eldest daughter of the sect, causing them to be hunted down. Originally, they were hiding in the Netherworld Empire, but now that the Netherworld Empire had been destroyed, they had nowhere to hide, so they could only flee to the Netherworld. I didn't expect that we would meet these 3 scums here. Ren Liangshan sent a message to the 3 of them. Tianyin's eyes are cold. So they are scum? It seems like we are quite famous. You even know our names, Liangshan said with an evil smile on his face. The titles of the 3 of you resound like thunder. How can we not know about you? Fear flashed across Lu Long's eyes. As long as you can help me, not only will I give you the map, I'll also give you a top-quality soul armament. I won't lie. What about you two? Liangshan looked at Lu Long and Liangshan and asked, We have to contribute too? The other 2 were stunned. Wasn't Lu Long just asking for help? What did it have to do with them? If you fellows don't want to pay, you can choose to jump down. If there are 2 laps, I won't charge you anything. Hunter Cheng's eyes were filled with killing intent, and he didn't look like he was lying. We will give you a high-quality soul instrument. Huh? 2. 2 high-quality soul instruments. That's all we have. Although they were core transformation cultivators, their situation was not good. It seemed that they had just broken through to the core transformation stage not long ago. Not bad. Liangchun and Liangchun looked at Tianyun and Liangchun and asked with a smile, "Their offer is not low. How much will you pay?" Liangchun and Liangchun released their qi. They were at level 7 and 8 of the core transformation stage. After the battle, they didn't consume much of their qi. They were not weak. Liangchun and Liangchun's faces changed. They thought that they would attack immediately. He didn't expect that they would ask Tianyun and Liangchun. Did this mean that if Tianyun offered a higher price, they would be dead? Offer a price? Tianyun said calmly, "Why?" Ren Liangchun and Liangchun looked at them coldly. They didn't want to compromise at all. Even if they were weaker than Liangchun, they didn't want to compromise at all. Especially to these disgusting cultivators. Compromise was a great humiliation. Why? Isn't our strength enough? Liangchun and Liangchun took out their high-quality soul instruments. Each of them used a different weapon, but the smell of blood filled the air. Liangchun didn't know how many people they had killed. In that case, I will give you a price. I promise you will be satisfied. Tianyun smiled. What price? Liangchun's eyes lit up. They were going to the ghost world, so they needed to collect more resources. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to settle down in the ghost world. I will spare your lives. Is that enough? Tianyun said calmly. Chapter 468. Spare the 3 of us? Lai Cheng was stunned. Lu Long and the others were also stunned. They thought that Tianyun would really give them some reward. Who knew that he would spare their lives? Fuck, Big Brother is playing with us? Lai Feng's eyes turned cold. He pulled out the long sword from his waist and stared at Tianyun. Lai Cheng raised his hand to signal them not to be impulsive, but his eyes were filled with killing intent. It seems that you think you are strong enough to kill all of us in one go. Of course, he was talking about Lu Long and the others. They were also going to participate in the battle, so there were 6 core transformation stage cultivators in total. At least not a fool would be able to figure out who had a higher chance of winning. Especially the 3 Lai Hu brothers. Their cultivation was amazing, so they would definitely have the upper hand in a fight. What do you think? Tianyun looked at him indifferently and said, "Kill him for me, then jump down and swim for a lap, and I will spare your lives." Did I hear it wrong? Kill them, and you want us to swim for a lap? What do you think we Lai Hu brothers are? Lai Cheng said angrily. Do you really think that you are invincible? Even if you're a beast tamer, do you have the ability to command the deep water sharks to attack me? They were not worried at all that Tianyun was a beast tamer. The deep water sharks were good, but Tianyun's control was limited, especially on the shore. How could he command the deep water sharks to come up? The deep water sharks could not walk on the shore, let alone swim. Although their cultivation was already at the core transformation stage, their spiritual wisdom was not developed, so their control of spiritual power was not as strong as that of cultivators, so they could not fly at all. Core transformation stage cultivators could fly by controlling their spiritual power, which was equivalent to using spiritual power to fly in the sky. Of course, the effect was different. We don't need the deep water sharks. We are enough. Lung, who held the giant axe in his hand, ready to fight. With just you? Lai Cheng sneered. I don't know how many of you I have killed, and how many of you begged for mercy in front of me, but in the end, a figure flashed past and appeared in front of him. Before Hunter Cheng could react, a palm had already slapped him heavily on the face. Hunter Cheng only felt pain on his face before he was sent flying. He slid back a long distance before he barely managed to stop. His face was swollen, and who knew how many of his teeth were broken. Blood continuously flowed out of his mouth. It was a horrible sight to behold, and his face was directly disfigured. Following that, another figure flew over and stepped on Lai Cheng's body. He said calmly, "Beg for mercy? Who did you say beg for mercy?" After speaking, Tianyun stomped down fiercely. With a prong, Lai Cheng's body was stomped into the ground. The violent stomp caused Lai Cheng to spit out a mouthful of blood. He felt like his internal organs had been crushed. No one could react to the sudden change. Hunter Cheng, who had the highest cultivation, was instantly killed. The one who killed Hunching was none other than Yi Tianyun. He looked very young, but he was able to display such a violent power. I die. Yi Tianyun stomped his foot heavily, and with a bang sound, Lai Cheng was completely trampled into the ground, and there was no sign of life. Under such a violent power, how could Hunter Cheng withstand it? Ding! Successfully killed Hunter Cheng. Reward: 1,200,000 EXP. 4,800 crazy point. 1,000 SBS. Reward: Hunting Tiger Step. Wild Impact. Reward: Detoxification Pill. Hunting Tiger Claw. 5 times EXP pill. His sin value is really quite high. It's even higher than the ministers. It's not that the ministers don't kill many people, but the things they do are too heartless. In a blink of an eye, Hunter Cheng was killed. When Yi Tianyun turned his head and looked at them, they felt a chill in their hearts. How can there be such a monster? Hunter Cheng's cultivation was the highest among them, but he was killed in an instant. It means that Yi Tianyun's cultivation is much higher than them. Big brother! They screamed. Their big brother, whom they respected so much, had been killed so easily. No way! Is brother Yi really that strong? Even the eldest brother of the Hunting Tiger brothers was killed so easily. Ren Liangchun and the others were dumbfounded. They knew that Yi Tianyun's strength was definitely not bad. They didn't expect Yi Tianyun to be this strong. An 8th level core transformation stage cultivator was killed in 2 moves, and he didn't even have time to say a word. Lu Long and the others' legs trembled. They thought that the 3 brothers were the strongest, but they didn't expect that the youngest kid was the strongest. How strong is he to be able to kill Hunter Cheng so easily? Peak of core transformation stage? They didn't dare to think about Void Spirit stage. Void Spirit stage is too difficult to cultivate. It belongs to the level of Phoenix Feather and Shielenhorn. There are many peak core transformation stage cultivators, but Void Spirit stage cultivators are very rare. Just take a look at the Netherworld Empire. Once a cultivator breaks through to the Void Spirit stage, he or she would become a great general or an important minister. The difficulty of cultivation was too high, so the corresponding level was different. This is the last time. Do you want to jump down and swim? Or, do you want me to kick you down and swim? Yi Tianyun looked at them coldly. Hunter Feng and the others swallowed their saliva. In the face of Yi Tianyun's terrifying pressure, should they jump down or not? You killed my big brother. I will kill you, Hunter Feng shouted. He didn't choose to compromise, but instead he grabbed his weapon and stabbed Yi Tianyun with all of his strength. He was like a gust of wind, and his speed was so fast that it left an afterimage in everyone's eyes. Yi Tianyun didn't even bother to look at Hunter Wind as he kicked Hunter Wind with his foot. Bang! Hunter Wind was sent flying by Yi Tianyun's kick and fell into the Netherworld River. Splash! Hunter Feng sank to the bottom of the river Styx, and he didn't get up again. Even if he didn't die, he would be seriously injured. How could he swim up to the bottom of the river Styx? He could only sink to the bottom and didn't get up again. Second brother, I will kill you. Hunting Rock roared and rushed towards Yi Tianyun. He was ready to fight with Yi Tianyun to the death. It seems like you are quite loyal. Then, get the hell out of here. Yi Tianyun didn't show any mercy. He rushed forward at a faster speed, aimed at Hunting Rock, and kicked him into the Netherworld River. Splash! Another person fell into the river Styx, and he didn't get up again. The river Styx didn't float people up, it only sucked them in, so they would only sink to the bottom of the river Styx. Chapter 469. The 3 Hunting Tiger brothers who had astonishing cultivations were killed just like that. In total, it took less than the time it took for a stick of incense to burn. This kind of power was really shocking. This caused them to be dumbfounded. Apart from shock, there was even more shock in their hearts. Yi Tianyun turned his head and looked at Lu Long, his eyes flashing with a fierce light. What about you guys? I don't know how you'll answer. Are you going to jump down and swim 2 laps? Or do I have to help you swim 2 laps? Lu Long and the others had bitter expressions on their faces. They had originally wanted to join hands with the three hunting tiger brothers to get rid of Tianyun and the others. Now that they had all been killed by Tianyun, they did not know what to say. I'm willing to give you the map unconditionally. Please let me go. Lu Long knelt down, trembling. This time, he finally gave in and did not dare to resist at all. He knew that resistance was useless and would only cause him to die earlier. The three hunting tiger brothers were the best example. They were killed in the blink of an eye. This was the result of resisting. I've said it before. Either you go down by yourselves, or I'll take you down. Choose one. Tianyun's gaze was ice cold as he indicated for them to jump into the Netherworld River and swim one round. We also need it? The two core transformation stage cultivators said with a bitter face. It seems like this has nothing to do with them. That's right. Didn't you think about dealing with us before? Tianyun said calmly. At least, from your expressions, I can tell that you have such intentions. After he said that, he used his chi to suppress them. He didn't need to use too much chi. As long as he was at the peak of core transformation stage, it was enough to suppress them. Their expressions changed. These words weren't false. They really did have such thoughts. They must have listened to Lu Long's words and joined forces to deal with Tianyun and the others. Who knew that there would be such a big reversal, and they would be completely crushed? It was too late for regrets. They had long faces and wanted to say something, but they didn't know how to explain. Jump, or I'll help you. Make your choice. Tianyun said coldly. We will jump by ourselves. The two of them paused for a moment. First, they consumed a few antidotes before jumping into the Netherworld River. As soon as they jumped down, they immediately let out blood-curdling screams. The underworld water continuously invaded their bodies, and in the blink of an eye, their bodies were already pitch black. However, in order to survive, they could only keep paddling forward. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as simple as swimming. They would die here. When Lu Long saw this, his expression changed. He knew what it was like to be poisoned. It was definitely not a good feeling. He turned to look at Tianyun, gritted his teeth, and said, Sir, other than giving you this map, I have other secrets to tell you. It's definitely worth it. Ren Liangchun and the others looked at Tianyun, not knowing what to do. Do you want to jump down yourself? Or do you want me to help you? Tianyun's voice was as cold as ever. He had no other choice. I'll jump. Lu Long gritted his teeth and turned around, revealing a bit of killing intent. However, he could only endure it for now. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape. He could either escape into the mist of death or jump into the river Styx. There was no third option. When he arrived at the river Styx and was about to jump down, he immediately unleashed all his strength and rushed into the mist of death. He didn't choose to jump into the river Styx. Instead, he chose to escape into the mist of death. Although jumping into the river Styx would give him a chance to survive, the chances were too slim. The mist of death was different. He wouldn't die immediately if he rushed into it. He didn't believe that Tianyun would catch up with him. However, before he could run more than a few steps, Tianyun had already flashed in front of him and looked at him coldly. His speed was much faster than Lu Long's. In the blink of an eye, he had intercepted him. There was no way for him to escape. From the beginning, Tianyun felt that it was very likely that Lu Long would trick him. As expected, Tianyun was planning to escape into the mist of death. Therefore, Tianyun, who was well prepared, quickly intercepted Lu Long and stopped him easily. Why? Where do you want to go? Tianyun said calmly. I want to sprint. If I go down, Lu Long said with a bitter face. No need. I will help you down. Tianyun kicked Lu Long fiercely. Lu Long screamed and fell into the water. He quickly sank to the bottom of the river and never floated again. This kick was not light, and it directly broke his bones. It would be a miracle if he could still swim. Ding! Successfully killed Ho Fong. Reward: 100. 000 EXP4. 600 CPS, 900 SPs, obtained martial arts hunting wind claw and hunting wind steps. Obtained detoxification pill, healing pill, hunting wind claw. Ding! successfully killed Ho Foam. Reward: 100. 000 EXP4. 600 CPS, 900 SPs. At this time, the two of them died in the river Styx. They didn't die when they were kicked into the river, but after a while, they were poisoned to death. The two cultivators who swam out only swam one round outside before they quickly swam back. When they reached the shore, they grabbed onto the shore and rushed up. After they came up, they were gasping for breath. It seems that the poison has penetrated into their bones. It will take a lot of effort to detoxify them. The two of them were lying on the ground, motionless and breathing. They took a lot of detoxification pill in advance, but they don't know if it will work or not. Yun is a man of his word. Since they did it, he will let them go. If they can survive, then it is their own ability. If they can't survive, then they deserve it. Brother E, your strength. Run Liangchun and the others finally came to their senses, and their eyes were filled with shock. They thought that Yun was strong enough as a beast tamer, but they didn't expect his cultivation to be so strong. My strength is not bad. I won't drag you down, Yun said with a smile. As long as they are not hostile to him, Yun will treat them with a smile. That's not what we mean. I mean, you are too strong. Is he really at the core transformation stage? Run Liangchun said in shock. Yes, he is at the peak of the core transformation stage. Yun said with a smile. He really is at the peak of the core transformation stage. They gasped, but it was still within their expectation. Judging from his strength, Yun was indeed at the peak of the core transformation stage. Yun didn't lie. He only used his cultivation at the peak of the core transformation stage. He didn't use his cultivation at the void spirit stage. How can we say that you are dragging us down? We are dragging you down, Rin Liangchun said with a wry smile. They had been taking care of Yun before, but they didn't expect that Yun's cultivation would be much stronger than theirs. There is no such thing as dragging us down. We are not in the ghost world yet, Yun said with a smile. Rin Liangchun patted his chest and said confidently, That's true. Let's cut to the chase. We promise to bring you to the netherworld. Chapter 470. Ding! Successfully killed Lu Long. Reward: 440. 000 EXP. 4400 crazy point, 500 SPs. While they were waiting, Lu Long's death notification came, and Yun got EXP. Because he didn't use crazy experience mode, he didn't get a lot of EXP. But this is not a big problem for him. 1,000,000 EXP is nothing to him. The most important thing is to complete the quest. If he can get some treasures or soul accumulating grass in the phoenix nest, he will make a lot of money. He doesn't believe that there is no soul accumulating grass in such a big phoenix nest. After half a day, the death fog finally showed signs of dissipating. Look, the death mist finally began to dissipate. They were all excited after waiting here for so long. The death mist finally began to dissipate. If they continue to stay here, they will be sucked dry. The black chi here is much stronger than outside, and the consumption is much higher than before. Indeed, it is finally dissipating. Yun nodded, but this is just the beginning. If they walk too slowly, the death mist will sweep over them several times. The difficulty will be greatly increased. It is too difficult to reach the ghost world, but there are still many people who want to go to the ghost world. It was all for a better cultivation environment, which was much better than this place. Just the spiritual power concentration in the normal area is much higher than here. As for how much higher, they have to go there to find out. Soon, the death mist dissipated very quickly, and in a blink of an eye, it dissipated relatively thin, but there is still a layer of death mist shrouding the area. It did not completely disappear. But they can vaguely see the road ahead. Unlike before, even if they use their spiritual sense to perceive it, they can't easily explore it. Let's go. If we are late, it will be too late. Rin Liangchun nodded and took out a map from his storage ring. It is a detailed map describing how to go through the death mist. Yun glanced at the map and found that it is roughly the same as the Netherworld Passage map he obtained. There is not much difference. He didn't expect that they really got a real map, not a fake one. It is very likely that they found a lot of information in this area. It is possible that they found several maps and finally confirmed this one. After looking at the road, Ren Liangshan immediately took the lead and walked forward and smiled at Etienne. Brother E, this time it is our turn. We spent a lot of effort to get this map. We can definitely get out of here. How can you be so sure? Etienne asked. Of course we're confident. We spent a lot of money to buy from the experts who returned from the netherworld. How could it be wrong? Ren Liangshan smiled and said, if we don't come prepared, we will die. We don't want to die here. We don't have any enemies. We live a good life in heavenly border continent. Even if we want to die, we won't come here. Etienne's eyes lit up. An expert who returned from the ghost world. Did he really return from the ghost world? This was good news. He had always been curious about how the cultivators from the underworld came back. Now it seemed like he could find out a little. I'm sure he has the ghost world's token. He definitely doesn't have it in the heavenly boundary continent. Ren Liangshan said with certainty. Do you know where he came from? Etienne asked. Ren Liangshan shook his head and said he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to talk about it no matter what. He seemed to have experienced something terrifying. I thought I could get more information or find out about other passages, but it seems like this is the only passage to the netherworld. So that's how it is? Etienne nodded. Although he didn't know where they came from, he was sure that Mingchen wouldn't come out from here. This way, at least the situation here could be ruled out, and there was no need to guard this place. But if he wasn't here, where could he be? Immediately, they set off quickly. The two core transformation stage cultivators were still lying on the ground. No one knew if they were dead or alive. It would take a lot of effort to detoxify them, and whether they could survive or not was not something that Etienne could do. Anyway, he had given them a chance, and if they couldn't survive, then they couldn't blame him. Under Ren Liangshan's lead, they quickly moved forward and turned left and right according to the map. In front of them was not a forest, but a maze of rock walls. There were many paths, and they didn't know which one was the right one. Fortunately, they had a map, so they wouldn't get lost. Go this way. Ren Liangshan led them to the left side and said, be careful. Even if this is the right way, it is not safe here. This was a natural danger zone, and it wasn't a formation set up by a powerful cultivator, so everything would change according to the situation. As they continued to walk forward, suddenly a black shadow came towards them, and it happened to pounce on Etienne. It didn't pounce on anyone, it just pounced on him. A long sword appeared in Etienne's hand, and he turned around and slashed at the black shadow. In a blink of an eye, the black shadow was cut in half. Then, a stream of black blood splashed out, and Etienne quickly propped up a protective shield to block the black blood. However, when the black blood touched the shield, it made a sizzling sound, trying to burn through the shield, but Etienne's spiritual power is not weak, of course. It's impossible to burn through the shield. Brother E, what happened? They all turned around and saw a black worm on the ground. It was as thick as an arm, and it looked very disgusting. This is a dark water worm. If you are bitten, you will be injected with a lot of poison. It is very disgusting. Ren Liangshan immediately recognized it after seeing it. And it is quite fast. Brother Yi's skills are not bad, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to block it. It's okay, let's continue. Etienne signaled them to continue to move forward. Ren Liangshan nodded and continued to lead them forward. As they continued to move forward, there were a lot of dark water worms along the way, but they all had one thing in common, and that was to attack Etienne. Strange. Why are they all attacking Brother E? They felt very strange. They didn't let Etienne walk at the back. They were all walking at will, but they only attacked him. Yes, it seems like the dark water sharks are the same, probably because my aura is too weak, so they give priority to me. Etienne smiled and didn't care about it. He suppressed his aura to be very weak, so it was easy for these monsters to attack him, and most importantly, his sin value was too high, so it was easy for him to attract their hatred. Chapter 471. A high sin value would always attract hatred. Whether it was towards humans or demon beasts, it had a great effect. As long as there was hostility, he would be the first to be targeted. For example, if they both scolded, even if the words were the same, he would definitely be the first to be hit. This was the reason why his sin value was too high. He would attract too much hatred. There was only one way to solve this, and that was to use up his sin value, which was the simplest and most violent way. But how could he be willing to do that? He would definitely save up to buy a new set that was worth millions. In this state, Etienne's ability to attract hatred would become stronger and stronger, and now he was playing it incisively and vividly. As long as it was a dangerous place, he would definitely be involved. If his cultivation was too low, he would definitely be the first to die. But there was no other way. In order to exchange for a high-grade set of sin, he could only endure it. Brother E, in fact, we can all resist. There is no need for you to do it alone. They all looked at Etienne worriedly. Although the dark water worm was very fast, they could still resist it. Yes, I know your cultivation is very high, but to resist it alone, isn't that looking down on us? We all came prepared. If we can't even deal with these little worms, how can we survive in the underworld? Yang Jiwen was a little angry. It was good to have Etienne's help, but it was all Etienne's help. It made them very apologetic. Yes, I am very angry. Lung Hu's face sank. He also felt unhappy. Etienne felt helpless. He just randomly found an excuse. How could he really do it on purpose? His sin value was too high. There was nothing he could do. I know your level, but this time you lead the way. I will help to resist the demon beasts. This is a normal division of labor, right? Etienne said. Now is not the time to discuss this matter. We should hurry up and pass the test. We can talk about other things after we go out. He immediately shifted his attention. They looked at each other. This was the only thing they could do for now. Then they continued to move forward. Etienne continued to attract hatred. Not a single demon beast attacked them. It was all aimed at Etienne. This made them feel very guilty. However, there was one more thought in his mind, and that was gratitude. Etienne could feel it because he could see with his naked eye that their favorability towards him was rising. It seemed that they would soon break through to 200 favorability. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Favorability was the fastest to increase. This made him want to win them over. It would be great if they could join his Heavenly Clouds mansion. Then he would have 3 more generals. All 3 of them were core transformation stage cultivators. If they could get more resources and martial arts, wouldn't they be able to soar to the sky? However, he didn't say anything for the time being. He could only wait for an opportunity. If there wasn't an opportunity, then he wouldn't say anything. As they advanced deeper and deeper, the deathly fog began to thicken, causing their expressions to change. Not good. The death mist is starting to condense. It seems like we have to stay here for now. Ren Liangshan saw that the situation was getting worse, so he had to stop. The dense death fog moved quickly, but it came even faster. It seemed to be condensing, but in the blink of an eye, it became dense. Although they could continue to move forward, it was easy to go the wrong way when they couldn't see the road clearly. They could only see half a meter in front of them clearly, so how could they judge the road? The best way was to stay where they were and wait for the dense death fog to dissipate. It seems that we still can't get out of here before the dense death fog gathers. This is the most dangerous time. We can't see the surrounding situation at all, so we don't even know if there is a sneak attack. Their expressions were grim. The reason why this place was called the dense death fog was because they couldn't sense anything. They couldn't sense anything, but the problem was that the sneak attack of the demon beasts could sense their existence. This was the scariest part. Getting lost wasn't scary at all, as they could walk slowly, but once the dense death fog gathers, death would be waiting for them. The key was that they didn't know that death was approaching. They could only sense it at the moment of death. They all took out their weapons and looked around vigilantly, but all they could see was darkness, and they couldn't see anything clearly. The fear of the unknown gradually filled their hearts, and they didn't even dare to say a word. As soon as they heard the slightest sound, they would immediately look in that direction. "Do you believe me?" Etienne suddenly asked. His voice broke the silence, and they all looked over, not knowing what he meant. "Of course, why wouldn't we believe you? We've seen Brother Yi's ability, so who wouldn't believe you?" Ren Liangshan was confused. "Then give me the map, and I'll bring you out." Etienne didn't tell them that he had the map. as it was equivalent to giving them a slap in the face. Bring us out in this dense fog? They looked at Tianyun in disbelief. Even if his cultivation was higher, it was impossible for him to clearly see the surrounding situation, right? It shouldn't be a problem. As long as you believe me, I think we can get out of here. Tianyun smiled faintly, looking very confident. The three of them looked at each other, but they didn't think for too long. Ren Liangshan passed the map to Tianyun. Basically, you saved our lives. We believe you, Ren Liangshan said solemnly. After Tianyun took it, he took the lead and walked forward. Thank you for your trust. Don't worry, I'll bring you out. It's not a difficult thing for me. After saying that, he threw out 2 dark water bugs and asked them to explore the way forward. After seeing it, they immediately understood what was going on. Brothery, no wonder you dared to say that. So you have the dark water bugs to lead the way. We can't sense the situation in front of us, but the dark water bugs can. I was so nervous that I forgot that you're also a monster tamer. With their help, even if it's the death fog, we can still walk out. Yang Jiwen and the others were overjoyed. They really forgot about that. Tianyun smiled. He was already prepared, and he specially caught the dark water bugs to find the way. As a pet owner, he could easily sense the situation of his pets and let them find a way for him. This was the advantage of being a monster tamer. No matter where he went, he could instantly go back to his own home by catching a pet there. What kind of maze was useful to him? It's useless. Yes, let's go. Let's get out of here quickly. Tianyun smiled and quickly led them forward. The reason why he was attacked by many dark water bugs and other monsters along the way was that they attacked him. Chapter 472. Under the guidance of the dark water bug, they walked forward easily. In addition to dealing with the demon beasts that constantly pounced on them, there was no other problem. For those with low cultivation, this is a nightmare, but for him, it is easy. Not only can he have the dark water bug to find the way, but he also has a lot of strength. The death fog can't stop them. They can walk without any delay. Originally, he wanted to rely on the soul guidance to find the way. In theory, it can be done, but the soul guidance only gives a rough direction. It is not very accurate. Of course, if he activates the luck aura, he can walk out at will. With the terrifying luck aura, he can definitely walk out easily, but the consumption of crazy point is quite terrifying, so it is better not to try this method. Fortunately, there is the dark water bug to guide the way, so everything becomes very easy. After walking for a long distance, the death fog in front of them began to thin. It is not that the death fog is ready to dissipate, but they are ready to go out. Soon, under the leadership of Tianyun, they walked out of the death fog. The first thing that came into view is not a dangerous scene, but a group of people. That's right, a group of cultivators had set up camp and were meditating in the distance, as if they were living here. Tianyun glanced at them and found that their cultivation is not weak. All of them are above the 6th or 7th level of core transformation stage. There are even some peak core transformation stage cultivators. The total number of at least a dozen or 20 cultivators. It is really a lot. If it is outside, it is equivalent to a very powerful force. It is just that they seem to have their own camp. They are not together. When they appeared, they were very vigilant, and when they saw the 4 of them coming out, they were shocked. It was inconceivable that so many people could come out after passing through the fog of death. Especially coming out of the death fog, it is even more incredible. Generally, people wait for the death fog to dissipate before coming out. Is the death fog dissipated now? Of course not. It is still covering the area behind them. But after coming out, there is no death fog here. Even the black gas has become thin, as if they walked out of the death fog. But the scene in front of them clearly tells them that they did not go out. There is a towering cliff not far from Tianyun. There is no other road here. This means that they have to climb over this mountain, otherwise they will not be able to pass. This towering cliff pierces the sky. The top is blocked by a layer of black clouds. It is completely impossible to see what is above. And this is the last checkpoint, Nether Gate. After passing through this place, they would be able to successfully reach the Netherworld. This was their final hurdle. Most of the black gas here was absorbed by the cliff, so there didn't seem to be any black gas being released around them. They could continue to stay here for a long time without needing to replenish their spiritual power. He turned his head and looked behind him. Behind him was the passageway of the death fog. Just like that, he walked out of it without any mishaps. We're finally out. It was too smooth. It's all thanks to Brother E. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble. We might even die in there. Ren Liangshan sighed. Ren Liangshan said, Etianyan of Etianyan. Etianyan Nether Gate is of. But if they knew that Etianyan already had the map, what would they think? No matter what, they are ashamed of themselves. They promised to show off, but Etianyan took all the credit. They do not know what to say. Based on this situation, Etianyan does not even need to team up with them. It might be easier for him to go alone. You don't have to say that this should be the last checkpoint, right? Through this, we will successfully reach the netherworld, Etianyan said with a smile. Yes, as long as we pass through this nether gate, we will successfully reach the netherworld. Ren Liangshan looked around and said in a deep voice, but this is the most difficult part. So many cultivators came here, but they are trapped here. Either we go back the way we came, or we climb up this cliff. There is no other choice. Their expressions are solemn. It is also not easy for them to climb up this cliff. So many cultivators are trapped here, they do not think they can climb up immediately. But before coming here, they have already thought about this, so they have long been prepared. When they walked over, all the cultivators looked over, but they did not pay attention to them. They just glanced at them, and then ignored them, focusing on their cultivation. Etianyan saw some mockery in their eyes, but more of it was despair. It seems that being trapped here for a long time has worn down their spirit. They do not want to move anymore. When they approached the cliff, they immediately felt a strong black gas seeping out from the cliff. It is obvious that this is not an ordinary cliff. If they climb up, the black gas will invade their bodies. The higher they climb, the more serious it is. Once they are invaded, if they cannot hold on, they may fall from the top. If they can fly, this cliff is not a problem for them at all. They can easily fly over. Now, it is different. They can only climb up with their bare hands. They cannot fly at all. At the same time, some cultivators continue to climb up, bit by bit, at a speed that is neither fast nor slow. In the process of climbing, the black gas is released from the cliff, and then it penetrates into his body. At first, it can be expelled, but the higher it is, the more difficult it is. If it is a mountain climbing, it is not a problem for them to climb for a few days. No matter how steep it is, they can easily conquer it. Here, every climb is so difficult. The cultivator at the 7th level of core transformation stage seems to be unable to hold on any longer. But he still insisted on climbing up, ready to climb to the top of the black cloud. Suddenly, the black cloud rushed over and penetrated into his body. The cultivator's expression changed. His originally fair face turned black in an instant. After climbing a few more times, he finally could not resist, let go of his hands, and slowly fell from the sky. As soon as he landed on the ground, he knelt on the ground. Huff, huff, huff. I failed again. I failed again. The cultivator panted heavily and began to disperse the black gas in his body. However, the speed was still a bit slow, and he could only disperse it bit by bit. There are many people like him. Some of them are meditating on the side. Obviously, they have climbed before, and they have failed, so they stayed here to meditate to recover. After recovering, they continue to climb up. They do not know how long it will take to climb to the top. Chapter 473. Those who couldn't pass the test were all failures, and some of them had failed more than once or twice. However, no one showed any sympathy to them. They just sat down and meditated to recover. There are newcomers again. This time, 4 of them came at once. They are really lucky. How can there be so many people like this? Unbelievable. That's right. But what's the point of them coming here? Once they experience this place, they will know that it is meaningless to pass the death fog. This place is much more difficult than the death fog. We can see the feeling of newcomers failing again. I remember that last time, there was a newcomer who couldn't react in time and fell to his death. I don't know how high they can climb for the first time. I think they can climb up to 500 feet at most. 500 feet? I think it will be good if they can climb up to 400 feet. I don't know much about this place. Can they resist the black chi? They were discussing among themselves. Suddenly, the focus fell on them. Maybe they saw that Etienne and the others were about to climb up, so they immediately had a new topic to talk about. This seemed quite harmonious, but in fact, each of them was a ruthless person. They were able to pass through so many dangers, so they must be very strong. Moreover, there were half good and half bad people in the ghost world. However, they didn't plan to attack Etienne. In addition to medicinal pills, weapons, and the like were useless here. They couldn't help them pass through the netherworld gate. So what's the point of robbing them? Unless they didn't have any medicinal pellets. Newcomers, do you have extra medicinal pellets? An expert at the peak of core transformation stage stood up from the side. It seemed like he had just recovered. He walked towards them when he saw them. This peak core transformation stage expert was not old. He was only in his 40s. He looked kind and kind. However, no one knew what he was thinking. Ren Liangchen and the others were shocked. They didn't know what this expert wanted to do. They were worried that this core transformation stage expert would attack them. Etienne's expression was calm. He took out 2 bottles of ordinary medicinal pellets and threw them to the expert. Can you tell me the details of this place? The core transformation stage cultivator took the bottle and opened it. After smelling it, he nodded and said, "Not bad. Not bad at all. Thank you." After receiving the pill, the core transformation stage powerhouse said with a smile, "Actually, we just need to climb over there and we can reach the ghost world. You all know this." Ren Liangchen and the others were furious. Isn't this nonsense? He more or less knew a little about this place. If he climbed over, he would definitely be in the netherworld. The question was what the situation here was like. Calm down. This little brother is very good. He doesn't look anxious at all. That's the attitude you need. Because regardless of whether you are anxious or not, after experiencing it a few times, you will realize that being anxious is useless. The core transformation stage cultivator glanced around and said, "See? They are all losers, including me. Who hasn't failed a few times here? So calm down and listen to me. Don't panic. Actually, it's not difficult. The higher you climb, the stronger the black gas will be. The higher you climb, the more pressure you will feel. Especially when you reach the top of the black cloud, you will feel the pressure of thousands of pounds. Coupled with the invasion of the black gas, your body will not be able to bear it. It's very easy for you to fall from the top. If you are capable, you will be able to adjust quickly and land steadily. If you can't adjust, you will die, just like the other side." He pointed at the piles of bones on the side, turning from corpses to skeletons. It didn't take too long to turn a corpse into a skeleton here. After turning into a skeleton, it would be quickly swallowed up by the ground and gradually disappear. This kind of strange phenomenon happened frequently in this place. The corrosive force here was too strong, so it was normal for the bones to be swallowed up. Other than that, there is nothing else to pay attention to. If you really can't pass, I advise you to go back the way you came. However, staying here is a kind of training. I will go back after a while. Thank you so much for the pill, little brother." The core transformation stage cultivator smiled and sat down again. He continued to use the pill to recover. Obviously, he felt that his recovery speed was slow, so he came to ask for the pill. "Oh, it seems that you have a lot of recovery pills on you. Little brother, can you give me some?" Another core transformation stage cultivator said as he walked towards Etienne. "What information do you have? Tell me, and this bottle of pills is yours." Etienne took out a bottle of pills. He wanted to understand the situation here. "Information? No, I just want to ask you to give me some pills." The cultivator said casually. "No, please go back." Etienne said indifferently. "It seems that you are quite bold. I'm not the only one who's asking you for pills. What do you think?" The cultivator smiled sinisterly. Then, 3 or 4 core transformation stage cultivators stood up. Their auras were not weak. Obviously, they thought that they were new here and wanted to get some pills. After staying here for a long time, the pills that they prepared were almost used up. Etienne was not a kind person. What did it have to do with him if they didn't have any pills? "Enough. I don't care about the others, but I will protect this kid." At this time, the core transformation expert who took the pill from Etienne before snorted coldly. His aura is at the peak of the core transformation realm, which is one of the strongest among all the core transformation experts. Le Fong, it seems like you're sincere in making things difficult for us. The cultivator frowned, feeling very displeased. I think this kid is not bad. You could do whatever you want to the other three, but no one can touch him. Lu Feng's tone was indifferent, but it was full of majesty. The other cultivators looked at each other and finally said, "Okay, we will give you face. I won't touch this kid, but you can definitely touch the other three, right?" "As you wish," Lu Feng said indifferently. The cultivator immediately turned to look at Yi Tianyun and said, "You were lucky. Hand over the rest of the pills, or don't blame us for being rude." Lung Hu and the other cultivators were angry, but when they were about to curse back, a figure rushed over and kicked the cultivator fiercely. The cultivator spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Ding! Successfully killed Cheng Yang. Reward: 1,200,000 EXP, 48,000 crazy point, 600 SBS. Obtain martial art demon soul claw, demon cloud step. Obtained items: recovery pill, detoxification pill, Tianyi armor, high-grade soul tool. Chapter 474. Yi Tianyun looked coldly at the cultivators around him. These are all ruthless people. If he doesn't act ruthlessly, he won't be able to intimidate them. Those who can come here are definitely not simple. The point is that they are cruel and can do anything. Yi Tianyun killed a core transformation realm cultivator in one move. It shocked everyone. Ren Liangchun and the others weren't surprised at all. With Yi Tianyun's overbearing power, he could easily kill a core transformation stage expert. It's just that Yi Tianyun's sudden attack caught them off guard. "Who else wants my medicinal pill?" Yi Tianyun looked at everyone's shocked expression and asked again. "Le Fong, don't blame me for not giving you face. Kill him." One of the core transformation realm cultivators' eyes were filled with killing intent. 3 core transformation realm cultivators immediately rushed towards Yi Tianyun. Obviously, they have a good relationship with the core transformation realm cultivator who was killed before. The rest of the core transformation realm cultivators went to check on their companions to see how serious the situation is. Lu Feng looked at Yi Tianyun's eyes and looked at the cultivators who attacked Yi Tianyun with a sympathetic smile. Bang, bang, bang. Yi Tianyun was merciless. He flew up to meet them, and with a sudden kick, he sent them flying one by one. He didn't need to do too much. Each of them only needed one kick, and before they could react, they were already stuck to the wall. Then, they lay on the ground, unable to move and breathless. Ding! Successfully killed Peng Yun, gaining 100,000 EXP, 700 crazy point, 800 SPs. Obtained martial art pushing heaven palm, reverse water cloud. Obtained items: pushing heaven palm, earthquake stomp, recovery pill, detoxification pill. Ding! Successfully killed Lu Chun, gaining 150,000 EXP, 800 crazy point, 850 SBS. Ding! The 3 of them were instantly killed by Yi Tianyun. They didn't even have the chance to beg for mercy. This time, he didn't let those core transformation stage cultivators swim for a while and then let them live. Instead, he directly killed them without any hesitation. The 2 places were different. There were fewer people there, and after swimming 1 lap, one would not be far from death. If one could endure it, it would be considered one's ability, and it meant that one was not fated to die. Things were different now. If he didn't intimidate them, he wouldn't be able to calm them down. Anything else? Yi Tianyun didn't mind killing them all. This way, he could gain more experience. Although it wasn't a lot, he still understood the principle of accumulating experience. 3 people were killed in an instant. This time, it really shocked the others, especially when they went to check on the cultivator, who was sent flying. One of them said in shock, dead. 3 core transformation stage cultivators who were at least at the 6th or 7th level of the core transformation stage were instantly killed. Even a peak core transformation stage cultivator couldn't do it so easily, right? Could he be at the void spirit stage? But that's not right. Why would a void spirit stage expert come here? Their hearts trembled, and they began to back away. In addition to fear, there was also anger in their eyes. What? Are you not convinced? In the future, when you fight, please use your brain. Brains are very good. I hope you have it. Etienne glanced at them lightly, then looked at Le Fong and said with a smile, "Thank you for your help just now. You gave me the pill, so I should help you, but now it seems that you don't need my help." Le Fong shrugged his shoulders and said, "Let's get to know each other." He stood up again. He recognized Etienne's strength, so he wanted to get to know him. Previously, he thought that Etienne was just a passerby, so they didn't know each other. Etienne simply introduced. Le Fong. Le Fong smiled and immediately turned to look at the others and said, "Brother Yi's words are very pleasant to hear. Brains are good things. I hope you all have it. I said before, don't bully anyone you see. If you kick an iron plate, you will be happy. Now, I was right? The cultivators were angry, but they did not dare to say anything. They could only keep their words in their hearts. "Brother Liu, has anyone succeeded in crossing over this period of time?" Etienne asked. Of course, there were 2 people who succeeded in crossing over a while ago. Their cultivation level was not as high as mine, but they managed to cross over. Le Fong shook his head and said, "It seems that some skills are needed. Cultivation level is definitely needed, but with some skills one can cross over. If one's attributes match the situation here, then it will be even easier." Attribute? Dark attribute? Etienne mentioned a relatively rare attribute. It was a rather rare physique, similar to a spatial physique. Yes, you can say that. Or it can be said that it is relatively easier to restrain the power here. Le Fong glanced at them and said, "Work hard. Put in a bit more effort and you will be able to cross over. Brother E, you have to be careful. Unless you kill all of them, once you fall down from above and are seriously injured and unable to fight back, you will be in trouble." Le Fong said the last sentence through telepathy. The last sentence was said by Le Feng's divine sense transmission. Obviously, he wanted to make friends with Etienne. It's good for everyone to have a good relationship with a strong master. "Thank you for the reminder." Etienne smiled faintly and said, "But they won't have this chance." Etienne turned around and said to Ren Liangshun and the others, "Are you ready? Are you ready to climb up and successfully cross on your first try? Are you confident?" "Of course." They nodded their heads, full of confidence. The cultivators watching from the side showed a mocking expression, but most of them looked at them with resentment. "All of you are dreaming. Do you think you can climb up on your first try? You are too naive." Aren't the newcomers so naive? When they come down from above, we will just watch. I don't think they will be more than 500 feet tall." They were all staring at Etienne. Of course, only a small group of them were left. Most of them just watched from the side and had no intention of making a move from the beginning. He could not rule out the possibility that they would take advantage of him later, but it had nothing to do with him because he would succeed in one try. Soon, after Ren Liangchen and the others adjusted their breathing, they immediately began to climb up. As soon as they climbed up, black gas immediately drilled into their bodies and kept eroding their bodies. They clenched their teeth and quickly climbed up, not stopping for long. Etienne was the last to climb up. When he put his hand on the wall, he immediately felt a surge of power surging out from inside and seeping into his body, trying to erode it. Devour! Etienne used the devouring divine skill without hesitation. Then, the black gas that surged out quickly turned into his experience. Not only did it not cause him any harm, it was even beneficial to him. Chapter 475. To others, this place was a nightmare. To him, it was a piece of cake. As more and more black gas gushed out, he absorbed more and more experience points. It was a pity that he couldn't extract the black gas forcefully. Otherwise, he would definitely collapse the cliff by absorbing the black gas. As long as he could absorb it, there was nothing he could not absorb. What a pity! It would be wonderful if I could extract it by force. Etienne shook his head and continued to climb. The higher he climbed, the more experience points he absorbed. 7,000 experience points, 8,000 experience points, 9,000 experience points, 10,000 experience points. He climbed up bit by bit. He did not rush up all at once. No matter what, it was a pleasure for him. He did not feel any pain at all. Unless the amount of energy gushing out was more than what he could absorb, it was a pleasure. Tianyun was neither fast nor slow. He just followed behind Ren Liangchen and the rest. He did not plan to surpass them. He would climb as fast as they could. At first, Ren Liangchen and the rest rushed up with all their strength. They were quite fast, but they began to slow down as they climbed. At this time, they had already reached the 300 feet region. They were about 200 feet away from the height that they thought was no more than 500 feet. Normally, they would reach the height of 200 feet in less than a breath's time. They had to climb up bit by bit. If they continued to climb, they would reach the black cloud when they reached the height of about 300 feet. This meant that they had to climb at least 300 feet to reach the black cloud area. They were still quite a distance away from the black cloud. It seemed like they had slowed down a lot. It was indeed difficult to climb to the height of 300 feet. As they continued to climb, they soon reached the height of 400 feet. They continued to climb up to the height of 500 feet. In fact, their current situation was a little bad. The black gas had already invaded their bodies, making them look slightly darker. However, they could still hold on and continue to climb. Tianyun squinted his eyes and looked at the situation. The situation here was a few times better than the situation below. He could see that just from the experience points he was getting. Now that he was getting 20,000 to 30,000 experience points each time, it was enough to show how difficult it was. No wonder they said that 500 feet was their limit. For Ren Liangchen and the rest, it was a very big limit. Whether they could continue to climb was another matter. Look, they won't be able to hold on much longer. They definitely won't exceed 500 feet. That's for sure. The number of people who can surpass 500 zhong for the first time can be counted on one's fingers. I don't believe they can surpass 500 zhong. They were all very confident that Ren Liangchen and the others would not be more than 500 feet away from them. Brothers, we must charge forward. We can't let those guys look down on us. Ren Liangchen roared, and quite a bit of the black gas within his body was forced out. He then continued to climb up. Not only did he not slow down, he even moved slightly faster than before. That's right. We won't lose to anyone. Yang Jiwen and the others clenched their teeth and continued to climb up, wanting to show off their strength. Lung, who did not speak, but his grave and stern expression was enough to prove his mood. With this resolute strength, they really did increase their speed. Then, under the astonished gazes of the crowd, they rushed up 500 feet in one go. This caused the people below to be dumbfounded. They felt that this was simply too inconceivable. They never thought that they would really be able to climb up. Tianyun, who was below, nodded his head. He felt that their willpower was really not bad, and their minds were very strong. It seemed that they had experienced a lot to reach this step. Otherwise, how could they be so determined? Along the way, Tianyun was very satisfied with their situation, so he wanted to recruit them. The first requirement for him to choose people was their mind. If their mind was not firm enough, it would be useless no matter how talented they were. The path of cultivation was long, and it would be very difficult to succeed without a firm belief. No way, it's really more than 500 feet. It's really more than 500 feet. But so what? I don't believe that they can successfully climb up in one go. If they can successfully climb up, I will walk upside down from now on. One by one, they changed their previous words. Fortunately, they did not place any bets before, or they would have suffered a great loss. Under the surprised gazes of the crowd, they continued to climb up, but their speed was getting slower and slower. When they reached 60 feet, Yang Jiwen, who had the lowest cultivation, could not hold on anymore. His face darkened, and just when he wanted to continue climbing, his other hand had already lost its strength, and he fell from the sky. Brother Yang, Ren Liangchen and the others' expressions changed. They saw that Yang Jiwen's condition was bad, and he looked like he was about to faint. If this continued, even if he did not fall to his death, he would be seriously injured. At that moment, a rope was thrown out, and Yang Jiwen was dragged over and back. The person who threw the rope was none other than Tianyun. He saw an opportunity and dragged Yang Jiwen back. Just like that, Yang Jiwen hung on his body a little. At that moment, A terrifying energy came from the cliff, and it was several times stronger than before. However, it was all converted into experience points, and it entered his body. It was really a pleasure. The effect is doubled. Is this a problem of bringing an extra person? Etienne was a little surprised. He did not expect such a situation to happen. Haha, that kid still wants to bring an extra person up? Doesn't he know that he will die faster this way? What an idiot. It seems like he can't hold on for much longer. Let's get ready. What a hero. I have never seen anyone who can bring an extra person up, and he is no exception. All of them laughed ferociously, and it looked a little scary. Brother E, hurry up and put him down. You will increase the burden on yourself by doing this. It's fine for one person to pass through the nether gate, but with an extra person, the effect will double. If you continue to go up, you will not be able to hold on, Le Fong hurriedly reminded. They all felt that Etienne was too reckless and too ignorant. As expected of a newcomer who did not understand the situation here, he did the most stupid thing possible. Etienne turned a deaf ear to them and continued to climb up. He said calmly, "Continue to go up. Let me see your limit." Ren Lianchun and the others looked over. They wanted to persuade Etienne, but when they saw the determination in Etienne's eyes, they swallowed their words. They nodded and continued to climb up with all their strength. Etienne's position in their hearts was getting higher and higher, and so they chose to listen to him. Chapter 476. Ren Lianchun and Lung Hu struggled to climb up, while Etienne slowly followed behind them and kept absorbing the energy. Soon, Yang Jiwen slowly woke up. He really fainted just now, and after a while he woke up. As soon as he woke up, he found himself tied up by Etienne and hung on his body. He climbed up bit by bit, and it looked extremely difficult. "Brother E, what are you doing? Put me down. I will drag you down." Yang Jiwen shouted in a weak voice after he regained his senses. "Just stay there and recover. When you recover, you continue to climb up. That's all." Etienne said indifferently. "We will climb up on the first try, not the second time." Etienne's words not only shocked them, but also shocked everyone in the audience. He wants to pass on the first try? How can he say such stupid words? So far, they have never seen anyone pass on the first try, unless they are super strong, such as the Void Spirit stage. They may pass on the first try, but they don't believe that Etienne has the cultivation of the Void Spirit stage. If he has this kind of cultivation, why would he go to the ghost world? He can already be a king here, so going down there is just asking for trouble. Did I hear it wrong? They want to pass on the first try? You heard it right. That kid wants to pass on the first try. Does he think he is strong just because he killed a few people? Who cares? Let's just watch them make a fool of themselves. It's impossible for them to pass on the first tries. They sneered at Etienne, thinking that what they can't do it either. Brother E, Ren Lianchun, and the others were deeply infected by Etienne's confidence. They felt that Etienne's words are very powerful, and it is easy for them to trust him. Then, they increased their strength and continued to climb up, and soon, Lung Hu began to be unable to hold on. Although it requires skills to pass on the first try, it also requires cultivation as a foundation to support them, so Yang Jiwen was the first to give up, followed by Lung Hu. In a situation where there was no technique, cultivation was the best strength. Lung Hu snorted. His hands could no longer hold on to the cliff. He fell to the ground. However, Etienne's rope was faster. Then he was dragged over and hung on his body. At this time, the surging energy doubled again, which meant that it had multiplied several times in a row. In an instant, he had reached the limit of what he could currently absorb. 90,000 EXP, 95,000 EXP, 100,000 EXP. Without any crazy experience stacking, it had already reached such a shocking level. It could be said that it had reached the limit of absorption. Of course, the limit mentioned here was the limit of the heaven-devouring divine art. It could also be stacked on top of the heaven-devouring divine art. The two could stack on top of each other. On the other hand, the dark north divine art could not be stacked at all. Heaven-devouring divine art? Activate. After activating the heaven-devouring divine art, His devouring effect immediately increased greatly, but the experience he absorbed did not increase. Because in this kind of situation, there was only so much energy surging out. He activated it in advance and continued to climb. Every time he climbed a certain distance, the energy surging out would increase. This was the biggest difficulty. When this scene fell into everyone's eyes, they were shocked. It was hard enough to continue to climb with one person, but now he wanted to carry two people. If we continue to climb 10 feet, he will definitely fall. Carrying two people at one time is courting death. They immediately came to the conclusion that Etionyan would not be able to persist for that long. Brother EU, rest well and recover for me. If you have the strength to talk, you might as well recover quickly and continue to climb for me. Etionyan said coldly. Yang Jiwen and Lung, who did not say anything. There was a bit of determination in their eyes. They took out some pills and stuffed them into their mouths to recover quickly. Indeed, as Etionyan said, if you have the strength to talk, you might as well recover quickly. Ren Liangchen looked at this side, then continued to climb, gritting his teeth. He hoped that he could climb a little higher. He climbed bit by bit, and Etionyan slowly followed behind him. No matter how slow Ren Liangchen was, Etionyan was as slow as Ren Liangchen, like a nanny. I'm almost done. I can continue to climb. Yang Jiwen felt that he had almost recovered, so he decided to continue to climb. Etionyan did not say anything. He only nodded his head, indicating that Yang Jiwen could continue. Yang Jiwen's body swayed, and he grabbed the cliff wall. The impact of the energy made him almost let go. However, he suppressed the black energy and continued to climb, and he really could continue to climb. Although he could not hold on for too long, at least he did not want to be dragged by Etionyan. Without Yang Jiwen, Etionyan immediately relaxed a lot. As long as he left Yang Jiwen and continued to climb, he would not be stacked with the energy. Very soon, Lung, who was almost done, he did not say anything. He just swayed his body and continued to climb without saying a word. After all, it was better to do more than to talk. Humph! Ren Liangchen finally could not hold on anymore. He fell from the sky, and then he was dragged by Etionyan and hung on his body. This time, he really managed to carry 3 people. As long as the other 2 people could not hold on anymore, he would be able to carry 3 people to climb up. This situation did not last for too long, because the situation above was getting worse, and Yang Jiwen could not bear it anymore. He let go of his hand and slid down. In the end, he was hung by Etionyan. Lung, who also slid down, and he was dragged by Etionyan. Now, all 3 of them were carried by Etionyan, and they had reached the limit of their strength. However, it was already very amazing that they could climb up to a height of 60 to 70 meters. They were stronger than most of the core transformation stage cultivators present. Very good. Then it's my turn. Etionyan climbed up slowly, 1 meter at a time. The people below were dumbfounded when they saw that Etionyan could really climb up with 3 people, and he could still maintain his speed, especially when they saw that Etionyan was still able to climb up with ease. What's going on? Can he really bear the pressure of 3 people and continue to climb up? Impossible. Can he really climb up? I also want to be his companion. It's so good to be hung like this. They were shocked to the extreme, especially Le Fong. He thought that Etionyan was reckless and ignorant, but it turned out that they were the ignorant and stupid ones. Chapter 477. Etionyan turned the impossible into possible. His speed was neither fast nor slow, and he completely withstood the pressure from the 3 of them, causing his experience bar to explode. 160,000 EXP, 170,000 EXP, 200,000 EXP. Crazy mode, activate. 3. 2 million EXP 3. 4 million EXP 3. 6 million EXP. Etionyan did not miss this opportunity and directly activated crazy mode. Every time he died, he could get more than 3 million EXP. Why not? It was much better than killing a core transformation stage powerhouse. The only problem was that they did not drop anything good. However, as his cultivation level increased, the number of good things dropped by the core transformation stage powerhouses decreased. It was easy to drop rare things in the past, but now it was very difficult to drop them. It seemed that as his cultivation level increased, the number of good things dropped by core transformation stage powerhouses decreased. The EXP was exploding, but he could not absorb it all in his current situation. Plus, there were 4 of them, so the effect was too strong. Therefore, the excess energy rushed into his body and was immediately absorbed by the flame of the netherworld in his body. Flame of the netherworld value increased by 500, increased by 600, increased by 700. The experience points had reached the limit, but it was the flame of the netherworld's turn. The speed of the experience points was quite impressive. It seemed that it would not take too long for the flame of the netherworld to level up. After absorbing for a while, he would be able to successfully break through. Not bad, not bad. Yun was pleasantly surprised. He did not expect the black chi to be a great tonic. The soul ferryman's effect was useless here. Because he took the initiative to stick to it, the black chi would rush in and the soul ferryman's effect would be ineffective. But this was good, otherwise he would not be able to gain EXP. Along the way, he continued to rushing up to 800 feet, even 900 feet. He did not feel like he could not hold on at all, and he could continue to climb. Along the way, the 3 of them could not hold on anymore. The rest time was too short, so they were in a state of free movement, forcing the black chi out of their bodies. This made the 3 of them look like a burden to others. Otherwise, Yin would definitely have an easier time. Regardless of their experience, Yin wanted to help them. He felt that they were already quite outstanding. Being able to surpass most people, coupled with his tenacious willpower, was more or less enough. He couldn't just abandon them and let them slowly crawl here, right? He didn't know how long it would take. He had something important to do now, so he wanted to hurry. This is already 100 zhang high, and he can still climb so high while dragging 3 people. Isn't this too terrifying? This is unbelievable. If this continues, we will definitely rush into the black clouds. Rushing into the black cloud and bringing 3 people with him. This kid is dead for sure. Those who held grudges against Yun felt that their chance had come. As long as they were swallowed by the dark clouds, even if they didn't die, it would take a long time for them to recover. In this situation, they had enough time to kill Yun. Le Feng, I advise you not to interfere. The 3 core transformation stage cultivators moved closer to the cliff and waited. Once Yun was swallowed by the dark clouds, they would immediately launch a sneak attack on him. Le Feng's eyes flashed. He already had a plan in his mind. As soon as Yun landed, he would immediately rush over to save the situation. At this time, Yun stopped and turned his head to look down. He immediately smiled at them and said, "Since you want my life so much, then you can take it." Doppelgangers. In the next moment, 3 doppelgangers quickly descended from the sky, and each doppelganger aimed at the 3 core transformation stage cultivators and kicked them fiercely. None of them could react to this sudden change. After the 3 doppelgangers landed on the ground, they quickly kicked the 3 core transformation stage cultivators and sent them flying away. The 3 doppelgangers looked around coldly to see if there was anyone else who was still hostile and wanted to wait for Yun to come down. All of a sudden, they were dumbfounded. 3 identical Yun. They thought that it was a camouflage, but who knew that it was the real deal? Yun was able to kill them in one move. This kind of power shocked everyone once again. Oh my god, what kind of martial art is this? It's so powerful. 3 doppelgangers, they are really powerful. If they hit us, we will definitely die. Fortunately, I didn't get involved in this, otherwise we will definitely die. So powerful. I'm afraid that his cultivation is really at Void Spirit stage. Shocked, they all thought about the Void Spirit stage, which was the cultivation they yearned for even in their dreams. Thinking of this, they felt a chill in their hearts. Perhaps Yun's cultivation was really at Void Spirit stage. Yun, who was climbing up, ignored the situation below and continued to climb up. In one breath, he rushed up to the black clouds. Soon, The black clouds crazily rushed into his body and drilled into his body. When they tried to drill into his body, they were blocked by the power of the soul ferryman, preventing them from entering. These black clouds were very powerful, but they were not as powerful as the soul ferryman title. As long as the black clouds did not take the initiative to suck them in, they would be blocked by the soul ferryman title. Etionyan glanced at them and ignored them. He had no intention of taking off the soul ferryman title. He was clear about the current situation. If he didn't have to drag the three people down, he could do so. But now, the situation was different, so he didn't dare to casually absorb the black clouds. He could only let the soul ferryman title block the black clouds. This situation shocked the people below. When they climbed up, the black clouds would immediately attack them. But now, when Etionyan climbed up, the black clouds hid to the side, not daring to approach. This was really shocking. What kind of situation was this, that even the black clouds were afraid of it? Why didn't the black clouds approach him? What's going on? Strange. The black clouds seemed to be avoiding him. Could it be that even the black clouds are afraid of him? They were all shocked. For better or worse, they had all experienced great winds and waves. Today's matter was the first time in their lives that they were so shocked. It was really unbelievable. Anyone could have fallen for it, but Etionyan was fine. How could they not be shocked? As for Run Liangshan and the others, because they didn't climb up the mountain, the black clouds did not surge over. They let Etionyan bear it. Of course, with the soul ferryman title, even if the power was doubled, he could still block it. Under their shocked gazes, Etionyan rushed into the black clouds in one breath and disappeared from everyone's sight. They looked at the sky for a long time. Their eyes were dull, and they couldn't believe it. Someone really passed the soul ferryman on his first try. Most importantly, he brought 3 people with him. Chapter 478. It was impossible for Etionyan to go down, so even if someone was hostile to him, it would be meaningless. Lu Feng looked at Etionyan's disappearing figure and suddenly laughed. It seems that we are still frogs at the bottom of a well. There are too many things that we don't know. I still have a long way to go. Lu Feng immediately rushed up and began to climb up quickly. In just a short while, he had climbed more than 10 feet. It seemed that he had decided to go to the ghost world instead of staying here. Etionyan didn't care what they thought, and he also didn't want to care about it. After he rushed up in one breath, he was shrouded by the black cloud. Apart from that, there was nothing else to interfere with him. It was already very difficult to climb up here, and if there were other things, it would be really dangerous. Ding! Congratulations to player Etionyan for successfully breaking through to 5th level Void Spirit stage. Finally, after a long time of crazy absorption, he successfully broke through to 5th level Void Spirit stage, and this was under the effect of crazy experience mode. It would take a long time for him to absorb the black cloud according to his original level. For him, this place was an incomparable place to provide experience, and it provided him with a steady flow of experience. If he continued like this, he would have no problem breaking through to the peak of Void Spirit stage. The experience here is really rich. Not only can it provide experience points, but it can also provide proficiency in the fire of Netherworld. It's an excellent place to practice. Etionyan was very satisfied with this place. Run Liangshan and the others who were hanging below gradually recovered. They felt ashamed when they saw Etionyan climbing alone. Etionyan's speed wasn't fast at all. Brother E, let us do this by ourselves. They still wanted to hold on for a while, and they didn't want to see Etionyan carrying 3 people by himself. They had all suffered from the pain here, so they knew what it was like. Now, Etionyan had to bear the strength of 3 people, and they felt terrified just thinking about it. Stay there and adjust the black gas in your body. If you don't expel it, your life will be in danger. I don't want to spend so much effort only to bring a dead man up there, Etionyan said in a low voice. This was not a lie. They had already absorbed to a certain limit. Although they had expelled a lot of the black gas and recovered a lot, they had only recovered a little. It was so serious here that he would soon faint again. He knew what Ren Liangshan and the others were thinking, but he wanted to go up as soon as possible. He didn't want to waste too much time. They fell silent and could only listen to Tianyun. They knew that they had reached their limit and needed a long time to recover. This meant that Tianyun had no choice but to leave first. If he waited for them, who knew how long it would take for them to pass? The three of them looked at each other and saw determination in each other's eyes. As Tianyun quickly climbed up, after passing through the black clouds, he saw the top of the mountain. Finally, after climbing almost 120 zhang, he successfully reached the peak. "We're here!" Tianyun's eyes lit up. The height was not very high, but the difficulty was not low. Soon after, he rushed up, brought them to the peak, and put them down. After reaching the peak, they saw a huge teleportation device. Other than that, there was nothing else. It seemed that they could successfully reach the underworld through this teleportation device. It seemed that this teleportation device was a one-way teleportation and not a two-way teleportation device. Otherwise, there would definitely be people coming out. "You guys rest here. I'll go down first." Tianyun didn't explain anything. He immediately climbed down the cliff. This stunned them. Once others came up, they would never want to go down. Tianyun, on the other hand, wanted to go down. They could only stay on the top and meditate to recover. They had to expel the black gas in their bodies first. Otherwise, it would be inconvenient for them to move. They were seriously dragging the team down. At least they had to walk by themselves, right? After Tianyun went down, he did not go to the bottom. He stopped at the black cloud and began to absorb the energy here. How could he miss out on so much experience? Remove the title. Tianyun took off the Soul Seeker title. It can be removed without equipping it. After he unloaded it, the surrounding black clouds seemed to have found an exit. They surged toward him and drilled into his body, devouring him in a frenzy. Xiong! The netherworld flame quickly swallowed it, absorbing it all. No matter how much comes, he will devour it. This is a great supplement for him. 2,000 proficiency, 3,000 proficiency, 3,500 proficiency, quickly stacking up, saving crazy point to level up. These black clouds are proficiency. It seems that although it is not the netherworld fire, it is definitely related to the netherworld fire. Otherwise, how could he obtain proficiency? After absorbing for a while, a clear sound finally came. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to high-grade Earth level netherworld fire. The next level requires 10 million proficiency. After the level up, the suction force suddenly increased by a lot. The surrounding black clouds were sucked in crazily, turning into more and more proficiency points. It was as if an explosion had occurred. 10,000 proficiency, 20,000 proficiency, 30,000 proficiency, crazily increasing. The speed of absorption has greatly increased, suddenly making the black cloud here thinner. That's right. Under his frenzied absorption, the black clouds here had actually become thinner. Other people can't withstand a little bit of absorption, but he is absorbing crazily. How can it not make the black cloud here thinner? Whether it is experience or proficiency, he has gained double, which makes him feel refreshed. This time it was not a waste of time. Just on the road can make him a lot stronger. What if he goes to the Phoenix Nest? His goal is not limited to Void Spirit stage, but Spirit King stage. After all, in the Divine Kingdom, there are many Spirit King stage cultivators. If he doesn't break through, death is waiting for him. As the black cloud became thinner and thinner, the people below gradually began to see the black cloud becoming thinner, and they were very shocked. Look, the black cloud seems to be thinner? Bullshit. How can the black cloud become thinner? Do you think it is still the death fog? It really has become thinner. What is going on? They looked up at the black cloud one by one. The most difficult thing is there. It is the black cloud. If the black cloud disappeared, then they will definitely be able to pass. Chapter 479. As it became thinner, the cultivators below the nether gate saw a figure at the top. Black clouds continuously entered his body. As the black chi became thinner, they finally saw who was absorbing the black chi crazily. After seeing it clearly, they were all dumbfounded. They thought that the black clouds suddenly became thinner. Who knew that it was Tianyun who was absorbing it crazily? It was as if he did not care about his life and kept entering his body. What's going on? He is absorbing the black clouds? Didn't the black clouds not go over previously? Why can he go over now? The three of them are gone. It seems that they have successfully gone up, but he came down to absorb the black clouds? What is going on? He absorbed so many black clouds, but nothing happened to him? They were all dumbfounded, one wave after another. They had just recovered from the shock, but they were deeply shocked again. There was no end to it. He was absorbing faster and faster. As long as they touched the black clouds, they felt like they were dying. But Tianyun was still absorbing it crazily. He was simply inhuman. Tianyun ignored everyone's gazes and continued to absorb the surrounding black clouds. The surrounding black clouds became thinner and thinner. He did not care about others' gazes. This was a chance to improve his strength. He could not miss it. This kid, Le Fong, had already climbed more than half the distance. When he saw Tianyun absorbing the black clouds, he was shocked. However, he did not slow down. He continued climbing quickly. Especially when he saw that the black clouds had disappeared, he could easily pass through the nether gate. Let's go up too. The black clouds will disappear soon. At this moment, some cultivators reacted quickly. They immediately rushed over and climbed up. They all wanted to go to the netherworld realm. Now that the black clouds were about to disappear, it was their best chance to leave. They did not know when the black clouds would condense again. All they knew was that they would disappear soon. Soon, they started climbing quickly. They were worried that the black clouds would condense again. When that happened, they would not be able to withstand it. This state did not last long. Tianyun quickly absorbed the surrounding black clouds. His flame of the netherworld's proficiency increased by hundreds of thousands. But by this time, the surrounding black clouds had disappeared. There wasn't even any energy coming out of the cliff, so he couldn't absorb any experience at all. What's going on? It's gone? Tianyun was stunned. It was one thing for the dark clouds to disappear, but why did the energy inside the cliff disappear as well? Could it be that the dark clouds outside are related to the energy gushing out from inside? Tianyun frowned. This meant that he had finished absorbing and there was nothing left. There was no point in staying here any longer. The cultivators below him were still climbing at a slow pace, but they all had doubtful looks on their faces. That's strange. Why don't I feel the black gas flowing out from inside, corroding my body? You too? I thought I was the only one who was fine. So you're fine too? Yeah, I don't feel anything either. Other than a little pressure, the erosion of the black gas has disappeared. All of them were pleasantly surprised. Now all that was left was a bit of pressure. It was the pressure from the sky that prevented them from flying. It was still bearable for them, and it was better than being eroded by the black gas. Tianyun looked down and shook his head. It seems that I have absorbed all the energy inside. I thought I would be able to level up a few levels. Tianyun felt helpless. He absorbed all the black gas in the cliff and made it extremely safe. Previously, it was extremely difficult to pass through the cliff, but now, as long as one was at the core transformation stage, he could easily pass through the cliff. If those who passed through the cliff knew what had happened now, they would be so depressed that they would vomit blood. They had risked their lives to pass through the cliff, but now they could pass through the cliff as easily as drinking a cup of water. Tianyun felt that there was no more experience to absorb, so he quickly climbed up the cliff and returned to the top of the cliff. At this time, Ren Liangshin and the others had already recovered a lot. When they saw Tianyun, they were surprised. Brothery, what happened? Are you okay to absorb the black gas? Obviously, they all saw the situation from above, and when Tianyun went down again, they definitely want to see the situation, but who knew that Tianyun went to absorb the black cloud? What can happen to me? If there was something wrong, would I still be standing here talking to you? Tianyun smiled. Although there was nothing left to absorb, the harvest this time was not small. Whether it was his level or the Netherworld Flames level, both had improved a lot. Soon, Le Fong climbed up from the cliff and looked at Tianyun from head to toe as if he had seen a ghost. Brothery, are you okay? What do you think? Etienne shrugged his shoulders. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You absorbed so much black gas, and nothing happened to you. Your actions allowed us to pass through this place easily. It looks like many cultivators who will need to pass through the Nether Gate in the future will have to thank you. Lu Feng smiled. He felt that this was incredible. Is that so? I don't think they will thank me. Etienne's expression is indifferent. At this time, other cultivators have climbed up one after another. Without the black clouds blocking their way, they can climb up easily. There is no problem at all. They happened to hear Etienne's words and showed an awkward expression. They had been mocking him for what he did. Now that they got some benefits, they did not know what to say. Thank you for your help, friend. It was all our fault. Please don't take it to heart. Yes. We just felt that you were a little too confident. We have never seen someone so confident before, so our words were a little harsh. We are still very grateful to you, or else we would not have been able to come here. All of them were embarrassed, but most of them were scared. They could only apologize to Etienne. If he wanted to kill them, who could stop them? Thinking about how those who resisted were killed one by one, they felt terrified. If they provoked Etienne, they would be dead for sure. No need to thank me, I was just doing my own thing. If there is nothing else, you can leave. I'm not a homicidal maniac. Etienne could not be bothered with these people. It was useless to flatter him. It was already kind enough not to slap them a few times. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. All of them felt like they had been pardoned. They hurriedly walked to the side of the teleportation array and started to pour their spiritual energy into it. Then, they quickly disappeared from Etienne's sight. They were really afraid that Etienne would hold a grudge and immediately kill them. With their strength, they would not be able to stop him. Chapter 480. After everyone left, only Lu Feng's group was left. The others immediately ran away, not daring to stay here any longer. Brother E, what are you going to do in the underworld this time? Can you tell us? Lu Feng asked. I'm going to do something. What's the problem? Etienne looked at him and said, No problem. I've always been here and have never been to the netherworld. It would be great if I could have a companion along the way. Lu Feng smiled. I wonder if I can join you guys? That's right. You're right. That's not necessary for now. I have something to do, so it's not convenient. Etienne refused. He was going to the Phoenix Nest. It was not convenient for him to bring others there, not even Ren Liangchun and the others. It should be said that other than him, no one else would believe it. Originally, the Phoenix Nest was extremely against humans. If there were too many people, it would cause conflicts. So, it would be better to have fewer people. So, Brother E, are you familiar with the underworld? Lu Feng immediately caught the other meaning in Etienne's words. If it was the first time he went to the underworld, he would definitely be fine. The most important thing was to familiarize himself with the surroundings and then make other plans. When Etienne said that he had something to do, Lu Feng immediately caught the meaning. Not very familiar. I just know that there's something I need to do, Etienne said indifferently. Okay then. Lu Feng saw that Etienne did not want to say more, so he did not continue asking. If that's the case, I won't say more. See you again if fate allows it. After saying that, Lu Feng walked into the teleportation formation and soon disappeared from their sight. After he left, Ren Liangchun and the others stood up and looked at each other. Then they looked at Etienne and said, Brother E, we plan to go with you. No matter where you go, we'll follow. If it's not convenient for you, we can wait for you somewhere else. The three of them looked at him firmly. It was as if they believed that he would follow them. Why did you do this? Didn't we plan to go our separate ways after forming a team? Etienne smiled. That was the original plan, but it's different now. Brother E, you didn't abandon us along the way, which made us very touched. We intend to follow you forever and are willing to work for you. Ren Liangchun said in a deep voice, We've always been wandering cultivators, so we're willing to serve you, especially before. We felt that you were more capable of commanding us and becoming our big brother. Yes, your cultivation is the strongest, and you have never abandoned us. You don't mind us dragging you down. Just this point alone is enough for me to decide to follow you. With such a boss, we are willing to obey. Same here. Lung Hu faintly smiled, revealing his ugly smile again. It was clear that he was thinking the same thing. Their gazes were resolute and determined to follow him. It was obvious that Yi Tianyun's actions when they were climbing the mountain had deeply touched them. Based on this point alone, it was enough for them to choose Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun looked at them and smiled. Actually, I'm the leader of a good force. I wonder if you are willing to join my force? They looked at each other and exchanged glances. Ren Liangshan nodded and said, "That's not a problem. I think joining your force won't be bad. Didn't you say before that you were afraid of being bound?" Yi Tianyun smiled and said, "This, as long as we can follow Boss Yi, I think we will definitely have a good life. We were afraid of being cheated by the sex before, but with Boss Yi's wisdom, how could we be cheated?" Yang Jiwen smiled and changed the way he addressed Yi Tianyun. "May I know which force Boss Yi belongs to? Tell us, let's see if we have heard of it before. My real name is Yi Tianyun, and I'm the Mansion Lord of Heavenly Clouds Mansion. I'm also the future Great Emperor who is going to establish the Heavenly Clouds Empire. Do you know that?" Yi Tianyun smiled and told the truth. "What?" The three of them stared at Yi Tianyun with their eyes wide open. The news was too shocking to them, and it took them a while to recover. The Mansion Lord of Heavenly Clouds Mansion? The future Great Emperor of Heavenly Clouds Empire? You are the super expert who destroyed the Netherworld Empire? Yang Jiwen asked in surprise. "That's right." Yi Tianyun smiled and said. It seemed like his reputation was quite good. This is unbelievable. A legendary figure is right beside us. And it's our Boss Yi." Ren Liangshan and the others were surprised and happy at the same time. They thought that they wouldn't be able to get close to Yi Tianyun, but who knew that Yi Tianyun was right beside them? "So, are you willing to join us?" Yi Tianyun asked with a smile. "Of course." The three of them shouted in unison. "Well, welcome to Heavenly Clouds Mansion." Yi Tianyun smiled and took out 3 saint tools. "This is a gift for you. Don't show it off to others." Saint tools? The three of them exclaimed. Yi Tianyun was too generous to give them to Yi Tianyun. These saint tools were looted by Yi Tianyun, and he didn't sell them. He originally planned to give them to his subordinates. Instead of selling them for crazy points, it was better to give them to his subordinates. As expected of Boss Yi, he just joined us, and he already gave us such a gift, Ren Liangshan said with a laugh. He felt that it was a wise choice for them to follow Yi Tianyun. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully subduing absolute loyalty General Ren Liangshan. Plus 100 commander points. As your cultivation level increases, you will be able to continuously gain experience points. It will never stop. Whenever you kill an enemy, you can get corresponding rewards, including EXP, crazy points, and sin points. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully subduing absolute loyalty General Lung Hu. Plus 100 commander points. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully subduing absolute loyalty General Yang Jiwen. Plus 100 commander points. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully subduing more than 3 absolute loyalty General Yang Jiwen. Plus 100 million EXP. 1 million crazy points, and Divine General Summoning Order. Divine General Summoning Order. You can instantly summon loyal generals to your side, no matter how far away they are. Can only be used 3 times before shattering. Regardless of number, a series of system notifications popped up. There wasn't much reward for subduing these generals, but after reaching a certain number, there was still a reward. Especially the Divine General Summoning Order, which could be summoned at any time, regardless of number. Chapter 481. Successfully subduing 3 generals made Yi Tianyun full of surprise. The more of these generals, the better. He had planned to recruit them as generals before. Just when he was about to talk about how to subdue them, they took the initiative to join him. So, he followed their wishes and subdued them. Since you chose to follow me, I won't give you anything too shabby. Yi Tianyun smiled. Low-grade sacred tool was not a problem for him. The number of sacred tools he obtained was not bad, so he didn't need them for the time being. As long as it wasn't a high-grade sacred artifact, he wouldn't be interested in it. As such, he casually gave away low-grade sacred artifacts. Moreover, they were his generals, so it was only natural for him to give them the sacred tools. It seems that following Big Brother E, we will definitely have a good life. Yang Jiwen touched the sacred tool, Grade Divine Sword, in his hand with excitement. He seemed to be able to foresee a beautiful future. The other two nodded and felt that their choice was absolutely the right one. However, they chose to follow Yi Tianyan mainly because of his unwavering loyalty, not the sacred tool. What was the use of a sacred tool if they were sent to die so easily? If they died in the blink of an eye, they wouldn't be able to enjoy anything. It was better to be free. It's almost time, let's go to the ghost world. Yi Tianyan stopped smiling and shifted his gaze to the teleportation array in front of him. He then took the lead and walked towards the teleportation array. This time, I have something to do in the ghost world. Because it's a special matter, I won't take you there. We heard about that just now. Go to the ghost world and find a place to settle. We will wait for you to come back. They nodded and didn't choose to go with him. Since Yi Tianyan said that he wouldn't let them go, they didn't force him to do anything. They just had to wait for him to come back. But after I come back, I will soon return to Tianyan Mansion. I won't stay in the ghost world. Are you willing to go back with me? Yi Tianyan asked. They had just gone to the ghost world, and they didn't stay for long. He wanted to hear what they thought. If they didn't want to go back for the time being, he would let them stay in the ghost world. Of course we're going back with Big Brother E. There's no point in us staying in the netherworld. Originally, we wanted to go to the netherworld to strengthen ourselves, but now it seems that following Big Brother E is more promising. Ren Liangchun and the others smiled. Well, if that's the case, let's go to the netherworld together. When I'm done with my business, I'll bring you back together. Yi Tianyan smiled. Soon after, they all walked to the teleportation array and poured their spiritual power into it. After it was activated, the teleportation array immediately teleported them out. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from where they were, and everything returned to normal. The surroundings of the netherworld gate began to condense bit by bit, and no one knew how long it would take for it to return to its original density. At the very least, it would take a long time. For a period of time in the future, the cultivators who came later would benefit. They would be able to easily enter the netherworld realm through the nether gate. Yi Tianyan only felt that his body was empty, as if he was floating. After a short period of blankness, what appeared in front of him was a green grassland. It was a vast grassland that stretched as far as the eye could see, and there was nothing else. The most important thing was that even the others, including Ren Liangxin and the others, were gone. It was obvious that this was a random teleportation, not a directional teleportation at all. No wonder they couldn't go back through the netherworld passage. Even the teleportation was random, let alone going back. It's a random teleportation array. How magical. Yi Tianyan frowned. It would be more difficult to find them this way. However, he had the simplest and most violent way, which was to use the Divine General Summoning Order. However, the Divine General Summoning Order could only be used 3 times, which was undoubtedly a waste of an opportunity. There was nothing wrong with the situation in front of them, and it was not full of dangerous aura like the Netherworld Passage. It looked no different from the Heavenly Border Continent. Being called the Netherworld Realm did not mean that there were dangers everywhere, or that there were terrifying auras everywhere. The reason why it was called the Netherworld Realm was mainly because it was colder here, and there were more people who cultivated the Netherworld attribute. The Netherworld attribute was relatively broad, including the Ice attribute and the Dark attribute. As long as it was related to the colder attribute, it could be collectively called the Netherworld attribute. Therefore, this place was called the Netherworld Realm, and it was very suitable for cultivators of these attributes to cultivate. It was not that the surroundings were very dangerous. There were ghosts floating everywhere, but it was not much different from the Heavenly Border Continent. There were also green grasslands everywhere, and even the concentration of spiritual power was much higher. It was indeed several times stronger than the Heavenly Border Continent. Just a simple cultivation here would allow one to break through to the core condensation level. The cultivation environment can determine a lot of cultivation conditions. Even without taking medicinal pills, one can easily break through. Apart from feeling a little cold, there was no other difference, and this was the netherworld. It seems that I can only summon them here. I am not familiar with this place. Tianyun didn't hesitate to use the divine general summoning command, and an interface immediately appeared in front of him. The names of the 4 divine generals were listed, including Su Fei's name. This means that as long as he wanted, he could summon Su Fei to the netherworld in an instant. But he did not need Su Fei to come here for the time being, so he did not need to choose Su Fei. Send the 3 of them to me. After Tianyun chose Run Liangshan and the other 2, he immediately activated the summoning order. Soon, the surroundings flashed, and Run Liangshan and the other 2 appeared beside him. Among them, Run Liangshan's face was dark, and he fell to the ground as soon as he was teleported. Boss Run! When they just reacted, they saw Run Liangshan lying on the ground. His face was dark, and there were a few wounds on his body. Obviously, he was bitten by something. He was poisoned. He must have been bitten by something. Tianyun frowned. He did not expect that Ren Liangshan would be in danger as soon as he was teleported here. Yes, I was bitten by a poisonous snake. It was too fast. Ren Liangshan's face was dark. He looked very painful. It was more painful than swimming in the dark water. Don't move. I will help you detoxify the poison. Tianyun took some blood from Ren Liangshan's wound. It was already rotten. If he continued like this, he would definitely die. Soon, he found out what kind of poison it was, and he quickly started to concoct the antidote pill. His speed was so fast that they could not react in time. Boss is also an alchemist? They were all confused. Tianyun did not answer them. He immediately gave Run Liangshan the antidote after he finished concocting the antidote. Under the effect of the antidote pill, poisonous blood gushed out of the wound, and only then did Run Liangshan feel better. If he did not use the divine general summoning order, Ren Liangshan would definitely die. Chapter 482. With the help of Tianyun's detoxification pill, Tianyun's speed of detoxification is quite amazing. As long as the detoxification pill is targeted, the effect will be quite good. Tianyun also specially made the 4th refining detoxification pill. The effect is several times stronger than the normal detoxification pill. Therefore, after a short while, Ren Liangshan's condition improved greatly, and they were relieved. Did you 2 encounter any danger? Tianyun felt that Ren Liangshan's condition stabilized, so he asked about their situation. No danger. I just teleported here, and when I was looking for a way out, I suddenly found myself in this place. Yang Jiwen was puzzled. I was at the edge of a swamp, and it looked quite dangerous. When I wanted to find you, I was teleported here. Lung Hu said, "What happened? Did the boss send us here?" Yang Jiwen was puzzled. Well, I made a few things and teleported you here. I was afraid that you would encounter some danger. Tianyun frowned and said, but fortunately, if I didn't hurry, Liangshan would be dead. Ordinary detoxification pill can alleviate the symptoms, but the poison is too strong. It can't completely detoxify the poison. The most important thing is that he is entangled by the snake, and it won't let him escape until he is dead. Tianyun saw that Run Liangshan was bitten, and there were traces of entanglement on his body. Obviously, Ren Liangshan was tightly strangled. It seems that the divine general summoning order didn't teleport even the snake. It can only teleport people here. If he saved a little bit, then he will never see Ren Liangshan again. Tianyun will not be stingy in this regard. People are alive, and this thing can be bought in the mall, so there is no need to worry about not having enough. But in terms of price, 1 million crazy point is still affordable. They are not in a hurry. They are waiting for Run Liangshan to recover, and then they are ready to move. Thank you, Big Brother E. If it weren't for you, I would have died here. The place I was in is too dangerous. I just got out of here, and now I am in the territory of the beasts. I am so unlucky. Ren Liangshan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The others were fine, but he was about to die. Seems like this random teleportation is too random. If I'm not careful, I'll die here. Tianyun frowned. Judging from Run Lianchin's situation, this kind of situation was not uncommon. He had only just arrived, yet he was already struck. If he died, it would be a huge loss. He had worked so hard to come to the netherworld, but before he could even see the world clearly, he had already died here. Yes, it really depends on luck. Ren Lianchin looked around helplessly and said enviously, "It's safer here. It doesn't look dangerous at all." Tianyan smiled and didn't say anything. It was normal for him. His luck value was extremely high. If he was sent to a dangerous place like this, then all his luck value would be wasted. All right, let's find a place to settle down first. After we decide on a place, I'll do something else. Tianyan took the lead and flew. He didn't fly randomly. Instead, he flew in the direction that his soul guided him to. He wanted to see if there were any cities along the way. Ren Lianchin and the others followed behind and flew forward. Fortunately, they could fly here. Otherwise, their efficiency would be greatly reduced. Soon, they didn't fly for too long. They could see a big city in the boundless grassland from afar. They saw a towering city wall surrounding the city. This was the first time they saw a big city since they came here. It didn't look any different. Everything that should be here was here. There weren't any big changes. Guanyin City, Tianyan, and the others landed and saw the name carved on the city gate. Through the gate, they could clearly see the bustling streets inside. There were many cultivators coming and going, and they could hear people shouting their wares from afar. When they walked in, the guards on the side didn't even bother to look at them. They didn't even charge them any protection fee. After entering, Tianyan casually glanced around and saw a row of houses. All of them are shops, selling different medicinal pills or weapons. Almost everything could be found here. As long as you have money, you could buy what you want. The cultivators who came and went had high and low cultivation levels, but the lowest cultivation level was not lower than core condensation stage. Most of them were above core condensation stage. Core transformation stage powerhouses were quite common here. You could even see a few void spirit stage experts at a glance. In the mortal world above, void spirit stage cultivators were relatively rare. But here, they could be seen as soon as they entered the gate. Their cultivation was not high. Most of them were at level 1 or level 2 of void spirit stage. The atmosphere here was lively. People were selling their best things and bargaining with each other. "Hey, you for a new here, right? I have a high-grade earth-level martial art here. It's absolutely rare. I guarantee you will be satisfied. I have a high-grade soul tool and even a sacred tool here. Come and have a look." They were very enthusiastic. They wanted nothing more than to sell the things in their hands. But when Tianyan glanced at them, he didn't see what he wanted at all. Now, what he wanted the most was soul accumulating grass. It could greatly increase his experience. "Do you have soul accumulating grass?" Tianyan asked indifferently. "Soul accumulating grass. We don't have it." The cultivator shook his head. "Friend, do you want soul accumulating grass?" A cultivator appeared out of nowhere. He looked shifty. "I'm a Moshu. I think there's some in front. Do you want me to take you to have a look?" "Oh, lead the way." Tianyan signaled him to lead the way. He didn't expect that there would really be soul accumulating grass. It's just that the name was weird. Emoshu. His entire body looked like a ball of darkness, and he had a shifty-eyed face, which was a fitting name for him. Emoshu led them forward with a smile. Along the way, the cultivators in the surrounding shops all shouted when they saw him. "Moz, do you have a referral?" "Not at the moment. If I did, I would definitely bring someone over to find you." Emoshu clearly had a good relationship with the people here. There were many guides like him. Tianyan looked around casually. He found that there were also other cultivators being led in to buy things. These were like receptionists. They specially led them to buy what they wanted, and then they would get a certain commission. Under Emoshu's guidance, they came to a shop in the alley. If Emoshu hadn't led them here, they really wouldn't have found it. The most important thing was that it was closed. It was still closed in broad daylight. Dong, dong, dong. Emoshu knocked on the door and shouted, "Shopkeeper, open the door. Someone wants to buy spirit medicine." After a while, the door slowly opened. An old man's face stuck out from the crack of the door. He looked extremely scary. Chapter 483. After the shopkeeper glanced at them outside, he slowly pushed the door open. However, he did not open it too much. It was only enough for one person to enter. How is this a reception? It's like opening the door for them to come in. I'm sorry, this is Shopkeeper Ye's shop. This shop has the most spirit herbs in Guanyun City. This shop has everything that other shops have, and everything that other shops don't have, this shop has it. Mo Shu said apologetically. Humph, come in. The shopkeeper didn't seem happy when he heard Mo Shu's words. Instead, his voice was still cold. Under the guidance of Mo Shu, Yi Tianyin walked into the shop. Ren Liangchen and the others were confused as they didn't know why Yi Tianyin came to buy the soul accumulating grass. Especially after he heard that Yi Tianyin wanted to buy the soul accumulating grass. They had all heard of the soul accumulating grass. In fact, it was a good spirit herb that could strengthen the soul, but the effect was getting worse and worse. So, why did Yi Tianyin care so much about it? After they entered the shop, they saw that it wasn't a dark house. The walls were inlaid with expensive jade stones, which could play the role of emitting light, making the house quite bright. Apart from that, there were all kinds of medicinal pellets placed around the walls, and they were arranged quite neatly. Ren Liangchen and the others were immediately shocked when they looked at the place. This is a 5th grade medicinal pellet, spirit severing pill. And that, it's also a 5th grade medicinal pellet. There are 5th grade spirit herbs, 6th grade rainflowers, and 6th grade spirit herbs. My God, this place is really rich. I've never seen some of them before. They were shocked to see a lot of spirit herbs and medicinal pellets that couldn't be seen outside. But the highest grade was 6th grade. Maybe there were even higher grade ones, but they could only see a small part of them now. The shopkeeper came in and sat on a rocking chair. He poured himself a cup of tea and slowly tasted it. He didn't seem to be entertaining guests at all. Yi Tianyin carefully looked at Shopkeeper Yi, and the detailed information immediately appeared. Shopkeeper Yi, 2nd layer Spirit King stage, not wearing any equipment. Martial arts, Underworld Ghost Palm, Underworld Ghost Divine Art, Underworld Ghost Step, etc. Weaknesses, none. Overall battle power, 180 million, normal state. Drops Underworld Ghost Palm, Underworld Ghost Divine Art, Underworld Ghost Steps, and other rare items. As expected of a Spirit King stage cultivator, his combat power was 180 million, and he could kill a Void Spirit stage cultivator with just a slap. There was a Spirit King stage cultivator in such a remote place. It was really mysterious. Looking at how many treasures there were here, without enough strength, it would be impossible to defend them. That's the Celestial Spirit Leaf. It's such a waste to use the Celestial Spirit Leaf to brew tea. Ren Liangchen gulped. It seemed like he had done a lot of research in this field. Yi Tianyin had also noticed this. The Heavenly Spirit Leaf was a level 4 spirit herb, but it was used to make tea. This level of wastage was truly outrageous. To a Spirit King, this was really nothing. Shopkeeper Yi, I brought you a customer this time. He wants soul accumulating grass. You said before that if anyone wants soul accumulating grass, they should bring it to you. Mo Shu rubbed his palms together and said respectfully to Shopkeeper Yi. Oh, someone wants soul accumulating grass? Shopkeeper Yi slowly put down the teacup and looked at Yi Tianyin. Who wants soul accumulating grass? That's me. Yi Tianyin stood up and said, those who want soul accumulating grass are usually cultivators who cultivate their soul. Are you a divine rune master? Shopkeeper Yi asked. I am a divine rune master. Is there a problem? Yi Tianyin said. Ren Liangchen and the others were startled. Yi Tianyin is a divine rune master? Wasn't he an alchemist before? Why is he a divine rune master? What rank? Shopkeeper Yi sat up. The eyes on his old face flickered a few times as if he wanted to see through him. Don't ask me what rank. Ask Shopkeeper Yi what kind of divine rune you want to inscribe or what rank of divine rune you want to break. This is the main point. Yi Tianyin smiled faintly. Shopkeeper Yi squinted his eyes and said, Kid, you seem very confident. It's all right. Yi Tianyin smiled faintly. Shopkeeper Yi glanced at Mo Shu and said, when did I tell others about this? This, about half a year ago. Mo Shu rubbed his hands and said, "It's already been half a year. I don't care about this anymore. You still remember this?" Shopkeeper Yi got up and said, "I didn't want to go out at first, but now I have to take you out. That kid is helping me find someone to open the box, and he hasn't come back yet. I don't know what he's doing." "You're saying to find someone who needs the soul accumulating grass, just to find a divine pattern master to open that box?" Mo Shu asked in shock. "You can say yes, but you can also say no." Shopkeeper Yi didn't say much. He just put his hands behind his back and walked out with them. He didn't even bother to close the door. There were a lot of pills inside, but he didn't even close the door. Wasn't he afraid of being stolen? Ren Liangchen and the others were speechless. They didn't know that the old man in front of them was a Spirit King stage expert. Anyone who tried to break in and steal things would end up dead. Under the lead of Shopkeeper Yi, they came to the street. There was a long queue not far away from them. There were a lot of people waiting in line, but they didn't know what they were doing. When they got closer, they saw a young man sitting on the side. There was a small box in front of him. The box was covered with dense divine runes, which looked quite complicated. For a box to be covered by so many divine runes, people couldn't help but wonder what exactly was inside, for there to be so many divine runes sealing it. "I have 3 soul accumulating grass here. As long as you help me unlock the divine runes on the box, plus the 2 divine tools beside my disciple, you can have them." Shopkeeper Yi took out a bottle of pills and threw it to Mo Shu. "You still remember what I did half a year ago? This is your reward. I wanted to recruit some divine rune masters, but no one wanted the soul accumulating grass. It seems like no one knew the effect of the soul accumulating grass for a long time." Shopkeeper Yi shook his head and looked at Yi Tianyan. "What do you want the soul accumulating grass for?" "I want to refine the soul accumulating pill," Yi Tianyan said simply. Shopkeeper Yi shook his head. "What a waste. But as long as you can successfully open the box, I will give you what I said just now." Chapter 484. Yi Tianyan looked at the box full of divine runes. There are many divine runes engraved on it, but the grade is not high. At most, there are only 5th grade divine runes. But it is 5th grade divine runes. It is enough to stump everyone. Ding. Successfully accepted side quest. Help Shopkeeper Yi open the treasure chest. Reward: 30 million EXP, 100,000 crazy points. Shopkeeper Ye's favorability increased by 100 points. Yi Tianyan didn't expect a temporary quest to appear at this time. Usually, when there is a quest, it means that the person must be very important. But Yi Tianyan can see that this Shopkeeper Yi is not simple. He opened a shop in such a remote place, and he doesn't even welcome customers. God knows what he wants to do. Failed again. A divine rune master jumped up angrily and pointed at the box. "This is only 5th grade divine rune? How is this possible? I feel that there is at least a divine rune grandmaster, and it is a very difficult one. If you can't open it, then let me do it. Don't waste time." The divine rune master behind frowned. The divine rune master in front of him dragged his feet for so long. It made him very impatient. "Fine, I'll let you do it." The divine rune master glared at the young man and said, "Kid, is this really a 5th grade divine rune?" "Of course it is. Is it really a 5th grade divine rune? Don't you have eyes to see? Even if it is not a 5th grade divine rune, just these 2 saint tools are enough to invite a divine rune grandmaster to help you, right? If you don't have the ability, then don't yell. Hurry up and let the next person do it. Don't waste my time." The young man had a blade of grass in his mouth. It is immediately seen that the grass in his mouth is not ordinary grass. It is jade spirit grass, a 4th grade spirit grass. It can be used to concoct a very good medicinal pill, but it is in his mouth just to taste a little sweetness. "You little brat." The divine rune master was angry, but just when he was about to get angry, the young man's eyes became cold, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. The divine rune master's anger was extinguished like a bucket of cold water, and finally, he can only turn around and leave. Yi Tianyan looked at the young man. He is not very old, about 21 years old, but his cultivation is not low. He is at core transformation 7th level. For this age, it is simply a heaven-defying existence. However, When he thought about how he had Shopkeeper Yi behind him and how many spirit pills he had no choice but to grow stronger. Why are there so many people today? Shopkeeper Yi arrived in front of the young man. This is what you want to do. The more people, the better. The more people, the better. The better. What you want to do? The better the Rune Master. Dawn. Yi Man said, this is what you were going to do in the first place. The more people, the better. The most important thing is what you wanted to do just now. Don't cause trouble for me. Understand? Shopkeeper Yi complained. I understand, Master. The young man said helplessly. That's Shopkeeper Ye's disciple, Pu Run. He seems to have been taken in by someone and is very pampered. But I've already brought my responsibility. Good luck. And Mo Shu laughed, took the elixir and left, not at all polite. Originally, they relied on this to make a living, so they had to get some benefits. Otherwise, how could they live? Tianyan glanced at him and did not pay any attention to him. He could only follow the other cultivators to line up. After Shopkeeper Yi brought him here, he didn't care about anything else. He just stayed by the side and watched. One by one, the divine inscriptionists came over to try and break the divine inscription, yet not a single one succeeded. However, no one could tell whether he was happy or sad. He was as calm as ever. Tianyan guessed that Shopkeeper Yi had seen too many failures, so he didn't care anymore. Damn, this divine inscription is so difficult to break. I am a dignified divine inscription grandmaster. How can I not even break this? A divine inscription grandmaster looked at the box angrily. There were so many people watching, yet he couldn't break this divine inscription. Immediately, he looked angrily at Shopkeeper Yi and said, Can I smash this box? That's up to you. As long as you can smash this box, whether it's attacking or breaking the divine inscription, it's up to you. But if you want to attack this box, you have to think carefully. The divine inscription on it is not a joke. Shopkeeper Yi said indifferently. Why didn't you say so earlier? I don't believe that this divine inscription can be that strong. This sacred tool is mine. The divine inscription grandmaster took out a big sword and fiercely slashed at the box. He was a cultivator at the peak of the core transformation stage. This sword was quite powerful, and a huge sword light slashed down. Boom! When the sword light slashed at the box, a rebounding force fiercely bounced the divine inscription grandmaster away, and he was sent flying into a shop. Immediately after that, he crawled out of the shop, and under the impact of the rebounding force, he suffered serious injuries. What a strong rebounding force. I admit defeat. The divine inscription grandmaster coldly snorted, turned around, and walked away. If he continued to stay here, he would only lose face. The other people who wanted to break the box with brute force shrank their hearts. It seemed that this method was not going to work. They thought that they were not much stronger than the divine inscription grandmaster, but he was still sent flying like this. What else could they do? Let me try. A void spirit stage expert walked over, holding a huge iron hammer in his hand. It was actually a low-grade sacred tool. This strong man's whole body was bulging, and his muscles were exposed, looking quite domineering. After coming over, one by one, they stepped aside, looking at this imposing manner. It was really possible that the box would be smashed, and the things inside would be smashed. I'm not a divine inscription grandmaster. If I smash this box, does it count as opening it? The strong man said in a clear voice. I said, as long as you can open this box, I will give you the 2 sacred tools with both hands. Shopkeeper Yi said in a deep voice. That's good. It's enough to hear you say that. There's nothing I can't smash. The strong man laughed loudly, raised the giant hammer, and fiercely smashed the box. The veins on his body bulged, and the metal attribute power in his body completely poured into the hammer, making the hammer shine with a dazzling light. It looked quite dazzling. Break for me! The burly man bellowed in rage and swung his hammer downwards. Boom! Following that, a figure was sent flying into the sky. A trail of blood could be seen spurting out from the impact. Obviously, this strong man failed, and it was a crushing defeat. The terrifying rebounding force caused him to be seriously injured. The sacred tool in his hand fell to the side and smashed a shop. But no one dared to take this sacred tool. It was a void spirit stage expert's sacred tool, and it will come back in a while. Continue. Shopkeeper Yi looked indifferent and signaled everyone to continue. Chapter 485. Shopkeeper Yi signaled everyone to continue smashing the box. As long as they could break the box, he would give them the reward. Although it was tempting, it was very difficult to break the box. Who would have thought that a 5th-grade Divine Inscription Grandmaster wouldn't be able to break it apart? But for a Grandmaster to do so, it was truly an extremely rare occurrence. The Netherworld Empire's Imperial Teacher was a Divine Rune Grandmaster in theory, but he was only a half-step Divine Rune Grandmaster. The Spirit Race's old ancestor was a true Divine Rune Grandmaster, but he was only a primary Divine Rune Grandmaster. Therefore, it was very difficult to reach the level of a Divine Rune Grandmaster. There were several Divine Rune Grandmasters present, but none of them were Divine Rune Grandmasters. As for those who wanted to break the box by force, even a Void Spirit Stage Cultivator couldn't do it. Tianyun shook his head when others thought that it would take a Spirit King Stage Cultivator to break the box. If a Spirit King Stage Cultivator could break the box, then Shopkeeper Yi would have already done it. What is this box? Why is it so hard to open? Tianyun narrowed his eyes as he looked at the box. He didn't know what kind of treasure was inside. Boss, are you sure you can open this box? Yang Jiwen asked excitedly. There are 2 holy tools inside. If we can open it, we can get 2 holy tools. Tianyun smiled and said, It depends on the situation. If we don't check it carefully, we won't know what is inside. He didn't care about holy tools, but he was curious about what was inside the box. Could it be a divine tool? This was not impossible. It would be a waste if there wasn't a peerless treasure inside the box. After that, the Divine Rune Masters started to break the box one by one. No one tried to break the box by force anymore. Even a Void Spirit Stage Cultivator was blown away by the force. Hence, they could only rely on Divine Inscriptionists to slowly decipher the Divine Inscriptions one by one. If they couldn't decipher the Divine Inscriptions one by one, then the next. Shopkeeper Yi sat on the side and watched, while Pu Rin continued to lie on the side with grass in his mouth, feeling quite bored. Master, who can open this thing? If even you can't open it, who else can? Pu Rin said in a bored tone, We've been trying for a few months, and no one has succeeded. Every day, his job was to get people to open the boxes. It had been a few months, and no one had succeeded. Be patient. There will always be someone who can open it. Shopkeeper Yi said indifferently, The world is bigger than you can imagine. I'm just a small character. Shopkeeper Yi was quite humble and didn't think that he was very powerful. I failed. Damn chest. The Divine Inscriptionist furiously kicked the chest and turned to leave. Although he was reluctant to part with the Saint artifact, he had no way to open the chest. There was no way for them to take it away. After failing one by one, it was finally Tianyun's turn. Many people looked at Tianyun and shook their heads. In any case, they were all failures. There was nothing to see. Just as he was about to check the box, an angry shout came from behind him. Move, move. Grandmaster Tianqing is here. At this moment, a group of people walked over from behind. There were a few young disciples in front, and they gestured for the others to move aside so that they could make a path. The road was so wide, and they still wanted people to move aside. This was putting on airs. Surrounded by the crowd, a middle-aged man slowly walked over. His expression was full of arrogance, as if he looked down on everyone. It's Grandmaster Tianqing. The most famous Grandmaster Tianqing in Wave Luck City is here. He must have heard about this box. That's right. After opening the box for so long, no one has been able to open it. At first, it attracted many Divine Rune Masters, and now it attracted Divine Rune Masters. In the end, even a Grandmaster was attracted. This time it will definitely be opened. If even a Divine Rune Grandmaster can't open it, who can? All of them talked at once, feeling that they would definitely be able to open the box this time and end this shocking matter. A small box that no one could open. How could they not be shocked? Brat, move aside. Let my master go first. The young man in front arrogantly asked Tianyun to move aside. Without a doubt, he was cutting the line. What did you say? Yang Jiwen and the others said angrily, We came first. If you want to open it, you have to line up first. Do you know who the person in front of you is? This is Grandmaster Tianqing, a divine rune Grandmaster. And you want us to line up? You can't open this box at all. Only my master can open it. When the time comes, you don't even need to try. The young man said in a low voice. Grandmaster Tianqing's expression was filled with impatience. Making him line up was equivalent to wasting time. Give him something and send them away. Grandmaster Tianqing waved his hand. Yes, master. The young man immediately took out a bottle of pills and handed it to Yi Tianyun and the others. Count yourselves lucky. This is a good pill. Take it and go to the side. Consider it your compensation. Yi Tianyun frowned. Why would he want something like this? Grandmaster Tianqing's cultivation was only at the 3rd or 4th level of Void Spirit stage. He could kill him with one slap. Line up. At this time, a low voice came from the front. Everyone looked up and saw Shopkeeper Yi looking at them coldly. An incomparably terrifying aura pressed down on them. The young man and Grandmaster Tianqing were pushed back a few steps by this aura. And this was just the aura. This cultivation. Grandmaster Tianqing's eyes were filled with shock. He didn't expect there to be a super expert here. His face sank. He didn't expect to encounter such a situation, but he could only obediently line up. No need. Since you want to come first, I'll let you go first. Yi Tianyun made an inviting gesture. Boss! Yang Jiwen and the others were very unhappy. They obviously came first. Let them go first. I want to see if a divine rune grandmaster can open this box. Yi Tianyun said indifferently. At least you know what's good for you. The young man's face was pale. But seeing that Yi Tianyun was giving way, he hurriedly asked his master to open the box. Grandmaster Tianqing glanced at him, but didn't say anything. He walked to the front of the box and prepared to break the inscriptions on it. Shopkeeper Yi glanced at Yi Tianyun. Since Yi Tianyun was giving way, he didn't say anything. Grandmaster Tianqing stretched out his hand and placed it on the surface of the box, trying to find a way to break the inscriptions. Again and again, he tried to break the inscriptions, but it all ended in failure. He thought that he would be able to break the inscriptions in an instant. Who knew that he would fail again and again? As time passed, Grandmaster Tianqing's face turned red. Under the gaze of so many people, he, a divine rune grandmaster, still failed. But he didn't choose to leave immediately. Instead, he continued to break the inscriptions again and again. He couldn't afford to lose this face. Yi Tianyun shook his head. Grandmaster Tianqing was actually just a half-baked grandmaster. How could he be considered a true grandmaster? He had long seen through Grandmaster Tianqing's plan. Chapter 486. Grandmaster Tianqing failed again and again, causing his face to turn as red as a pig's liver. It was clear that he had failed. No matter what he did, he couldn't open the chest. It meant that he was going to lose all his reputation and face here. He had thought that he would definitely be able to break it, but who knew that he would still fail? One must know that this was a 5th-grade divine inscription. Even a grandmaster of divine inscriptions had no way to break it. What situation was this exactly? More and more people noticed the situation, and they started to suspect that Grandmaster Tianqing was unable to break the divine imprints. It can't be right. Even Grandmaster Tianqing can't break the runes on the chest? That shouldn't be possible, right? That's an evolved scholar we're talking about. How could a 5th-grade divine inscription not be able to break it? Could it be that Grandmaster Azure is a fake? Or could it be that the runes on this chest aren't of the 5th grade? Even if it's not at rank 5, a Grandmaster should be able to open it. One by one, they shook their heads. Some felt that Grandmaster Tianqing was too weak, while others felt that the chest was too mysterious. However, no matter how mysterious it was, a Grandmaster should be able to open it, unless the divine pattern on the chest belonged to a Genesis divine pattern. This was clearly impossible. Genesis-level divine patterns were simply too legendary. No one had ever seen them before. He hadn't even seen a creator-level one yet. This level was simply too difficult to reach. Reaching the late stage of the divine inscriptionist realm was already extremely terrifying. What's wrong? You can't open it? If you can't open it, Switch to the next one. Don't be stubborn. Shopkeeper Yi looked at Grandmaster Tianqing with an indifferent expression, as if he had already expected that Grandmaster Tianqing would not be able to open it. Who said I can't open it? I need more time. Grandmaster Tianqing persisted, wanting to see more of this divine imprint. He truly didn't want to lose face. All right, I'll give you a bit more time. The more stubborn you are, the more embarrassed you will be. Shopkeeper Yi continued to drink his fragrant tea, completely ignoring him. Grandmaster Tianqing mustered all his strength and continued to destroy the barrier madly, but it was to no avail. He was still unable to break it. Yang Jiwen and the others immediately laughed. You were so arrogant just now, but you still can't open it now? Brat, what did you say just now? Your master will definitely succeed. What about now? Master will definitely succeed, but it will take some time. So many people have been unable to open it. Even Master has to spend a bit more effort. As long as we can break it, a bit more time is nothing. The young man stubbornly refused to admit defeat. Is that so? Then hurry up. It's getting dark. Don't delay our journey. Yang Jiwen and the others snorted coldly. They turned to look at Yi Tianyun and said, Boss, if we continue to stay here, want to delay your journey? We'll wait for you here in Guanyin City. Don't worry, we have plenty of time. Of course, Yi Tianyun wasn't worried. He had already arrived at the Netherworld realm. Now that he had a mission to complete, why not? Moreover, he didn't have to wait too long. It would soon be his turn. Time passed quickly. 2 hours passed, but Grandmaster Tianqing was still unable to break the divine inscription. If this were to continue, it would seem that he would not be able to break it. Grandmaster Tianqing stood up and said in a low voice, This box is not an ordinary 5th-grade divine inscription. So far, no one has been able to open it. Even if other Grandmasters come, they won't be able to open it easily. He could only admit that he couldn't open it. The crowd was in an uproar. Who would have thought that even a Grandmaster would be unable to break this divine inscription? It was too strange. Next, Shopkeeper Yi waved his hand, indicating for Grandmaster Tianqing to hurry up and go down. Grandmaster Tianqing waved his hand. As he turned around, he said coldly to the divine inscriptionist behind him, This is not something you can break. You need at least an existence close to the level of its creator to be able to open it. That's right. Even my master can't open it, so naturally you can't. Hurry up and leave. The young man waved his hand, indicating for the divine inscriptionist to hurry up and leave. Yi Tianyun turned a deaf ear to him. He walked up to the box and prepared to study it. As he squatted down, he immediately activated his heaven's eye and began to examine every detail of the box. After a closer look, he found that there were almost no flaws. Although this was really a 5th-grade divine inscription, it was so closely linked that it was like a dead knot. There was no way to unravel it. Originally, if it was listed separately, it would be full of flaws and could be easily broken. But under the interlocking, it actually made up for each other's flaws, causing the 5th-grade divine inscription to be extremely complicated. But since it could be inscribed, there must be a way to break it. Interlocking, huh? Since that's the case, I'll break the balance and forcefully carve a hole in it. Yi Tianyun took out the Imperial Spirit Brush. He didn't have a high-grade divine inscription brush, so he could only use the one from before as a replacement. He was prepared to inscribe a divine inscription on the box. Brat, you won't listen no matter what I say. Do you think you can open it? The young man snorted disdainfully. He felt that Yi Tianyun was overestimating himself and actually dared to challenge him. Grandmaster Tianqing waved his hand and said, Some things, they will only know after trying. There's always someone better out there. You talk too much. Just because you can't open it doesn't mean others can't. If you can't open it, then hurry up and leave. Don't block the way. Shopkeeper Yi looked at him coldly. You. Grandmaster Tianqing looked at Shopkeeper Yi and said angrily, I just don't want them to waste their time. If they can break this box, I'll walk upside down. Quiet. Shopkeeper Yi snorted coldly, and a terrifying aura pressed down on Grandmaster Tianqing, forcing him to take a few steps back. This was the aura of a Spirit King stage cultivator. He didn't dare to say a word anymore. Shopkeeper Yi stared at Tianyun, and everyone looked at Tianyun. They saw that Tianyun was inscribing a divine inscription on the box. Everyone was stunned. Everyone had only inscribed a divine inscription on the box, but none of them had inscribed a divine inscription on it. But even if he did inscribe a divine inscription, what was the point? Is he inscribing a divine inscription? Is he trying to be funny? Everyone else is here to break a divine inscription, but he is here to inscribe a divine inscription? Doesn't he know that it's impossible to inscribe a divine inscription on a divine inscription? Forget it, this kid has nothing better to do, so he came here to have a look. The divine inscription masters behind him laughed, including Grandmaster Tianqing. They all felt that this was the stupidest divine inscription master they had ever seen. Just when everyone thought that Tianyan was fooling around, a divine rune was engraved on the box with a ding sound. After the divine inscription was successfully inscribed, everyone was stunned, and before they could react, Tianyan slammed his hand on the box. Bang! The divine inscription that was inscribed on the box exploded, followed by a chain reaction of other divine inscriptions. In just a few breaths' time, all the divine inscriptions on the box were gone. Chapter 487. Just as everyone was discussing whether or not Tianyan was messing around, the divine sigil on the chest was suddenly broken by him. Everyone was stunned. Everything had happened too suddenly. All he had done was inscribe a divine sigil, then destroy it, and then the entire chest was destroyed. It was truly shocking. In the blink of an eye, the divine sigil had been destroyed. It didn't even take long. Other divine sigil masters had spent a long time trying to break the divine sigil. Some had even spent several hours trying without any results. Yet, in Tianyun's hands, he had succeeded in breaking it in less than 5 minutes. It wasn't difficult at all. In the hands of others, a divine sigil that was equivalent to a Genesis divine sigil was equivalent to a real 5th-grade divine sigil in Tianyun's hands. He could easily destroy it. This terrifying speed left them dumbfounded. They hadn't even regained their senses. What on earth had happened? How is this possible? He really broke it? Grandmaster Tianqing was stunned. This was undoubtedly a slap to his face. He had just said that if anyone could break the divine sigil on the chest, he would walk upside down in the future. It hadn't even been that long, and he was about to fulfill his promise. Haha, as expected of our boss. He opened it so quickly. Brat, who said we couldn't open it just now? Yang Jiwen and the others laughed loudly. In truth, they didn't have much confidence. When they saw Tianyun really open the chest, they were only stunned for a moment before exclaiming in surprise. As expected of their boss, there was nothing he couldn't do. The young man's face turned the color of pig liver. He wanted to refute, but there was nothing he could say. The chest had really been opened. What else could he say? From this, it could be seen that the so-called grandmasters were all *T. It really broke? Shopkeeper Yi jumped up and floated to Tianyun's side like a gust of wind. He took the chest and carefully examined the divine sigil on it. There really was nothing left. Not even a single divine sigil was left. What was left was a bare chest that could be easily opened. Shopkeeper Yi, you can check it carefully. Tianyun signaled Shopkeeper Yi to check. Shopkeeper Yi opened the buckle on the box and slowly lifted it up. Then, a flame aura seeped out from the box. Just for a moment, Shopkeeper Yi immediately closed the box, making it impossible for others to see what was inside. Tianyun didn't see it clearly either. It was just a small crack. Who could see it clearly? He believed that even Shopkeeper Yi couldn't see it clearly, but from the aura it emitted, he could clearly feel what it was, a very strong fire attribute treasure. The released flames were like a runaway horse, released in all directions. If it weren't for Shopkeeper Yi covering it quickly, it would have been released in all directions. However, just a trace of the flame aura was caught by him. Phoenix Fire, a top-grade Earth-grade flame, capable of burning everything. Moreover, it can allow a phoenix to be reborn from the flames, a flame that unlocks the conditions for nirvana. The appraisal, I instantly analyzed the origin of this flame. He didn't expect it to be the Phoenix Fire. It was really shocking. Inside this small box, there was also the Phoenix Fire sealed. It should be a treasure that was closely related to the Phoenix Fire. Unfortunately, shopkeeper Yi quickly closed the box, so Tianyun couldn't see what it was at all. He only knew that it was an extremely amazing thing. Under such a sturdy box, if it was just an ordinary item, he would really be depressed to the point of vomiting blood. You can really open it. I really didn't misjudge you. Shopkeeper Yi felt a burst of excitement. His originally old face was a little more rosy. This was all because of his excitement. It seems like Shopkeeper Yi already knew that I could open it. Tianyun himself didn't know that he could open it. He just thought of a way to try. Who knew that he could really open it? After all, so many divine pattern masters couldn't break it. Sometimes it wasn't because the divine pattern level was too low, but because the method was wrong. If the method was wrong, no matter how strong it would be useless. I just thought that you might be able to open it. You're the first cultivator that I can't see through out of so many people. Of course, it's mostly because of my intuition. Shopkeeper Yi was very happy. He pointed at the two divine tools and said, "These divine tools are all yours. Follow me to the shop, and I'll give you the soul accumulating grass." "Thank you very much." Tianyun smiled, picked up the two divine tools, and put them away. Pu Run, who was at the side, looked up and down at Tianyun. He was very curious about him. He looked about the same age as him. How could he open this box? Could he be an old monster? Pu Run was very curious. Shortly after, Shopkeeper Yi led his people back. When Tianyun followed, Grandmaster Tianqing stopped him and asked, "How did you do it?" "How could I do it? Didn't you see what I did just now?" Tianyun said calmly, "Oh right, don't forget your promise. Remember to walk backwards in the future." Sometimes one shouldn't say such things casually. It would only embarrass oneself. "You brat, do you know who I am?" Grandmaster Tianqing was furious. He was prepared to use his status to pressure Su Ke again. Scram! Shopkeeper Yi looked at him coldly. It was bad enough that he couldn't open the box, but he was still looking for trouble. This made him very unhappy. Grandmaster Tianqing was speechless. He was very unhappy, but because of Shopkeeper Yi's strength, he could only suppress his anger and turn to leave. However, he wouldn't really walk backwards. It would be too embarrassing. He quickly left with a dark expression. The surrounding cultivators were pointing and gossiping. This matter would soon spread, and many people would know that Grandmaster Tianqing had lost to a nameless brat. Tianyun and the others followed Shopkeeper Yi back to the shop. There was no difference between entering and leaving the shop. No one would dare to come in and steal anything. As soon as they entered the shop, Tianyun threw two holy tools to Ren Liangshan and the others and said, "Take these two holy tools. They will help you a little." This? Boss, you don't need them?" Ren Liangshan and the others were stunned. They didn't expect that Tianyun would give away two holy tools just like that. When Shopkeeper Yi saw this, he revealed a surprised look in his eyes. Although a low-grade saint artifact wasn't something precious to him, it was still a good thing. At the very least, it was something that cultivators with low cultivation could only dream of. But now, Tianyun just threw them to Ren Liangshan and the others. It was either he really valued them or he didn't like them. "Friend, may I know your name?" Shopkeeper Yi asked Tianyun's name to prove that he recognized Tianyun. It was very rare to get the recognition of a Spirit King stage cultivator. Tianyun. Tianyun directly said his real name. Anyway, no one here knows his real name, so he just said it casually. Tianyun. Tianyun? Very good. I will remember you. You have helped me a lot this time. For so many years, no one has been able to help me break this divine rune. Shopkeeper Yi said gratefully. For this, I will give you another thing. Chapter 488. Shopkeeper Yi was in a very good mood. That was why he was so excited and wanted to give Tianyun more rewards. Originally, 2 divine tools and the soul accumulating grass were already very generous. Who knew that there would be other rewards? Although many people couldn't open this box, Everyone could see that it wasn't difficult to open it if they knew how to do it. 2 sacred artifacts and the like were already very satisfactory rewards. Since shopkeeper Yi had chosen to give them as gifts, Tianyin wouldn't refuse anything. He would take as much as he wanted. Shopkeeper Yi didn't take out any pills. He took out a piece of paper from his storage ring and quickly wrote something on it. A pill recipe appeared in his hand, and he passed it to Tianyin. This is the soul accumulating pill, a pill recipe that can truly unleash the effects of the soul accumulating grass to the extreme. I thought you would know how to concoct the soul accumulating pill, but it turns out that you only know how to concoct the soul accumulating pill. Soul accumulating pill. Tianyin took the pill recipe and found that it was completely different from the soul accumulating pill. There were a few more spirit herbs in it, but he wasn't very sure about the effects. However, shopkeeper Yi had said that the pill that could unleash the full effects of the soul accumulating grass wasn't the soul accumulating pill, but the soul accumulating pill. Yes, the effects are at least twice as strong as the soul accumulating pill. This pill recipe is very rare. I got it from a divine runestone grandmaster. He's a very strong divine rune grandmaster, much stronger than that grandmaster just now. Shopkeeper Yi snorted coldly. He was very unhappy with Grandmaster Tianqing. It's a pity that I don't know where he went. Otherwise, he would definitely be able to open this box, and I wouldn't have to waste so much energy here. Shopkeeper Yi laughed. But since you're fated, I'll give you this pill recipe. It'll be very helpful to your cultivation of divine runes. I believe that in the future, you will definitely become a grandmaster of divine inscriptions. Shopkeeper Yi didn't think that Tianyin had reached the pinnacle of the divine inscriptionist realm. That move of his earlier didn't require too much skill. Hence, he didn't think that Tianyin's level of attainment was particularly high. Any higher, and he would at most be at the level of a divine inscriptionist. Hence, Shopkeeper Yi decided to encourage him. Shopkeeper Yi wasn't a divine inscriptionist, so he couldn't tell what was going on earlier. What they didn't know was that Tianyin's strength was truly at the level of a grandmaster in divine inscriptions. If not, there would be no way for him to inscribe the divine inscriptions. The difficulty was simply too high. Tianyin didn't refute anything. He didn't care what Shopkeeper Yi thought. Successfully completed side quest, help Shopkeeper Yi open treasure chest. Reward, 30 million EXP, 100. 000 crazy points. Shopkeeper Yi's favorability increased by 100 points. Easy to get a lot of EXP and a lot of crazy point. This kind of task is the more the better. There are other rewards outside. Tianyin likes this kind of task the most. Thank you for your kind words. Compared to this, I need more soul accumulating grass. I wonder how many Shopkeeper Yi has? No matter how many, just give me a price. I can buy it with money. Tianyin smiled. What could be more important than soul accumulating grass? Saint tools and other things were not important to him. What he needed was a lot of EXP. Weapons and the like were just external objects. His own cultivation was always the foundation. It seems that you value soul accumulating grass very much. Soul accumulating grass isn't that high in grade, but it's extremely rare. I don't have more even if you want it. I only have 3 here. I don't have more. Shopkeeper Yi shook his head and said, in terms of rarity, soul accumulating grass is comparable to a 6th grade spirit herb, but its effect is far less than a 6th grade spirit herb. It's too difficult for you to get more of it. Okay, Tianyin was very helpless. He wanted a lot of soul accumulating grass, but it seemed that he couldn't satisfy him at the moment. Immediately, Shopkeeper Yi took out 3 soul accumulating grass and some spirit herbs and handed them to Tianyin and said, this is soul accumulating grass, plus some spirit herbs. You can refine 3 portions of soul accumulating pill. You can find a good alchemist to help you refine it. I can refine it for you, but I'm not free at the moment. If you're not in a hurry, you can come back to me in a few months. I can refine it for you for free. That's not necessary. I can handle it myself. Thank you, Shopkeeper Yi, for the pill. Tianyin thanked him. Everyone takes what they need, it's normal. Shopkeeper Yi smiled. I'm busy right now. If you have anything you want, tell my disciple, and I will sell it to you at a good price. That's not necessary for now. We'll be leaving first. Etianyin didn't care about the other spirit herbs at all. Since he was done with his business, it was time to leave. That's fine. You can come visit when you have time. Shopkeeper Ye's attitude towards him changed drastically. To him, this helped him a lot. Of course he was happy. After Yun left, Pu Ren looked at the box and asked, Master, inside this box. After being outside for so many years, we've finally opened this box. This means we can go back. Shopkeeper Ye's eyes flashed. Pack up. We'll go back after a while. Finally, we can go back? Pu Ren's eyes lit up. I thought it would take a few decades before we can go back. No need. The elder gave me this order. We can go back after I complete it. I don't know what's going on in the clan now. No one came to pick us up for a long time. Shopkeeper Yi frowned. Did something bad happen? How is that possible? Who can hurt us? Pu Ren's eyes were cold, and there was a fire in them. After Yi Tianyin and the others left, Ren Liangshan and the others stayed in Guanyin City. Maybe they could go out for a walk, but they could just stay here as a meeting point. I'll come back after a while, but I don't know how long I'll be back. Anyway, I'll come back after I finish my business, Yi Tianyin said. Okay, we'll wait here for boss to come back. The three of them nodded, indicating that they didn't plan to go anywhere. They just needed to cultivate and break through here. After a bit of closed-door training, Yi Tianyin might come back. After explaining, Yi Tianyin quickly flew out and began to fly in the direction of the phoenix nest. But before he went, he found a cave and flew in, and began to refine the divine accumulation pill. He wanted to see how terrifying the effect of the divine accumulation pill was. Maybe it could help him level up immediately. Hurry up and try refining it. Yi Tianyin took out the soul accumulation grass and began to refine the divine accumulation pill. At first, he aimed for the fourth refinement, but the success rate was only 80%. One had to know that refining the soul accumulation pill, the fourth refinement was already a 100% success rate, and the fifth refinement was close to 80%, but the fourth refinement was only 80%. Chapter 489. It was beyond his expectations that the fifth refinement level would drop so low. His immortal flame had been upgraded before, and its level had increased greatly. Facing the divine accumulation pill, his fifth refinement level had dropped like a cliff. It had dropped to 20% in an instant. It was terrifying. The divine accumulation pill is just a fourth-grade pill. It is no different from the soul accumulation pill, but the difficulty has increased so much. Yi Tianyin was taken aback. He did not expect the difficulty to increase so much when refining a pill of the same level. Just as Shopkeeper Yi had said, the divine accumulation pill could bring out the full potential of the soul accumulation grass. It was just that the difficulty had increased greatly. This situation was not unheard of, but it was common. Many pill recipes were the same grade, but the difference in difficulty was like heaven and earth. This was just like the difference between a divine rune grandmaster and a divine rune grandmaster was like heaven and earth. Forget it. I'll just go for the fourth refinement. The fifth refinement is too difficult. Even if he activated the lucky halo, he would only have a 50% success rate. That was because the lucky halo could only provide so much success rate. Unless he continued to level up, there was a possibility of increasing the success rate. After deciding, he immediately started refining. Because the success rate was not low, and with the help of the alchemy furnace, the success rate increased again. He was not afraid of failure. Ding! Successfully refined the divine accumulation pill. Obtained 500,000 experience points, 1,000 proficiency points. He had easily refined them without any difficulty. For someone of his level, refining these pills was not a problem at all. So this is the divine accumulation pill. The effects are completely different. Yi Tianyin looked at the pearl-like pill in his hand. The rich fragrance wafted into his nose. It was quite tempting. Activate Crazy Pill Effect Mode. After activating it, even the experience pill would have twice the effect. Previously, it was limited to recovery pills. But after the upgrade, even the experience pill could have this effect. Let me see how much experience it is. Yi Tianyin swallowed the pill with anticipation, and just as he swallowed it, he heard a pleasant voice in his ear. Ding! Successfully obtained 100 million experience points. Yun was stunned. 100 million experience points. What a terrifying number. This meant that even if he didn't use the crazy elixir mode, he would still have 50 million experience points. It must be known that under the 4th refinement mode, the maximum he could get was 15 million. This meant that it had tripled. Even under the condition of the 5th refinement, it had almost doubled. This effect was really too shocking. Sure enough, the effects of the soul accumulating grass had been maximized. It was shocking to gain so much experience in one go. At this time, Yinner suddenly jumped out of the pet pen and grabbed one of the pills. She stuffed it in her mouth and swallowed it. She then looked at Tianyin angrily and said, "Daddy, why didn't you call me out when there was good food?" When Tianyin saw Yin jump out, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't expect her to jump out at this time. Sure enough, when there was no one around, she would automatically run out, especially when she saw delicious food. This, Tianyin hastily stuffed the divine accumulation pill into his mouth and obtained another 100 million experience points. He could let Yin eat any other pill, but he couldn't let her eat the accumulating soul pill. After all, this was an experience pill, a necessity for him to level up. "Daddy, I want to eat more." Yinner was fuming. She had stayed in the pet space for too long. Naturally, she felt very angry, especially when she was secretly eating. "I'll give it to you. Promise me that you won't fight with me for these pills, okay?" Tianyin tried to persuade Tianyin. "No problem. Who told you to keep me inside? I always wanted to come out, but who knew that you were secretly eating delicious food outside?" Yinner angrily said, "Cough, cough, I will give you other pills now. Eat slowly, okay?" Tianyin took out a few bottles of good pills. They were all very suitable for Yinner to consume. After Yinner received them, her eyes lit up and she crazily ate them as if she was eating jelly beans. If an ordinary cultivator took care of Yinner, they definitely wouldn't be able to raise her. Eating pills like jelly beans, who could afford to raise her? When Tianyin saw that Yinner had stabilized, he heaved a sigh of relief. He then continued to refine pills. His goal was naturally still to refine pills of the 4th refinement. The difficulty of refining the 5th refinement was too high. When his level increased, he would consider refining the 5th refinement. Soon, the remaining 2 furnaces of divine accumulation pills were finished. Adding up to a total of 6 divine accumulation pills, it represented 600 million experience points. "Daddy, this is more fragrant." Yinner looked at Tianyin, and her saliva almost flowed out. She didn't eat the pills, but she felt that the pills were very fragrant. The higher the grade, the stronger the fragrance. "Cough, cough. I can't let you eat this for now. Be good, listen to me. Just eat those pills. I will give you better pills later." Tianyin comforted her. "Okay, I will keep my promise." Yinner stopped looking at Tianyin. Tianyin quickly stuffed the pills into his mouth. Soon, the 6 pills were digested and turned into 600 million experience points. It was definitely a huge amount. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyin for successfully breaking through to the 6th level of Void Spirit stage. In such a short period of time, Tianyin broke through to the 6th level of Void Spirit stage easily. It was a pity that the amount of soul accumulation grass was too little. As shopkeeper Yi said, its rarity was comparable to a 6th level spiritual medicine. If there was a large amount of it, it would probably explode in a short period of time. The next level requires 800 million experience points. This is too much. Tianyin shook his head when he saw the amount of experience points needed. It was really difficult to level up. Even the soul accumulation pill required a lot of them to level up. Now that it became a soul accumulation pill, it required 8 pills to level up. "It's about time. Yinner, let's go. I will bring you home." Tianyin dragged Yinner out of the cave. "Go home?" Yinner asked doubtfully. "Yes, go home. You will know when the time comes." Tianyin smiled and flew out of the cave with her. They flew towards the phoenix nest at the fastest speed. I wonder what the situation is like in the phoenix nest now. Under the guidance of his soul, he got closer and closer to the phoenix nest. After passing through several areas, a fiery red forest came into view. Looking carefully, he found that it was filled with fire parasol trees. Fire parasol trees were the phoenix's favorite resting place. Coupled with the strong guidance of his soul, it was obvious that he had arrived at the phoenix nest area. Looking up, other than the fire parasol trees, there were still more fire parasol trees. Obviously, a big formation was set up to hide the phoenix nest. Chapter 490. Looking at the endless fire parasol tree, Etienne quickly flew down with Yen-Er. Just as they landed, Yen-Er looked around, her beautiful eyes revealing some doubts. "Daddy, I feel so familiar here. I feel so at ease." Yen-Er immediately felt a sense of familiarity. Regardless of whether she had been here before, the main thing was that the environment here was very suitable for her to live in, which was why she had this feeling. "Yes, this is your home, but it's a bit troublesome to find." Etienne glanced around. This place was quite hidden, and the person who set up the formation was definitely a powerful person, so it was not easy to see through it. In order to find some clues, he opened his heavenly eye and took a panoramic view of the environment. He found that the surrounding fire parasol trees had small divine patterns carved on them. The carvings were quite hidden, just inside the fire parasol trees. From the outside, it was impossible to see them clearly. Of course, this was not the main point. So many divine patterns did not have any offensive effect, nor did they have any illusion effect. They were mainly used to detect intruders. This meant that when Etienne came in, he would be detected immediately, and the information would be passed to the phoenix nest so that people would notice the situation here. Etienne did not care about these things. He held Yen-Er's little hand and strode inside. He was not worried about being discovered at all, or rather, it should be said that he was worried about being discovered. He did not intend to break through the formation by force. He just wanted to wait for someone to come out and guide him in, which would undoubtedly be much more convenient. If he forced his way in, the other party would not praise him, and it was very likely to cause anger, so it was best to wait for someone to come out and help him. Immediately after, he walked in with Yen-Er, but along the way, no one came out to stop him. Nothing happened at all. This made him feel very strange. Logically speaking, someone should have come to help him very soon. They were considered intruders, so shouldn't there be a guard? Unexpectedly, along the way, nothing happened. Not even a shadow was seen. As he continued to go deeper, he quickly sensed that there were people in front of him. The next moment, his eyes turned cold, and he quickly kept Yen-Er in the pet space. Then his body leaned to the side, sticking to the tree trunk. In the blink of an eye, he concealed his body and merged with the tree trunk. Concealment skills were very useful. As long as one's cultivation was high enough, they would be able to display a very good effect. As soon as he hid himself, two figures appeared in front of him. Their cultivation levels were not high. They were only at level 6 or level 7 of the core formation stage. Both of them were wearing black clothes with the word dark embroidered on them. Strange, I felt someone was here just now. How come they disappeared in a blink of an eye? One of the core transformation stage cultivators asked. Did you sense wrongly? I didn't sense anything. Another core transformation stage cultivator said. Could it be that I sensed wrongly? The cultivator looked around. When he really couldn't see anyone, he could only give up. It doesn't matter if he has people or not. We're all here to do business. The results of the negotiation are coming out soon. The Phoenix race won't agree at all. The Phoenix race really doesn't know what's good for them. The situation is so dangerous now, but they still refuse to let us help them. The arrogance of the Phoenix clan is well known. It would be perfect if they could pledge allegiance to our heavenly netherworld divine nation. They chatted as they left, returning to the side area. Etienne, who was hiding on the side, frowned. In order to let the Phoenix race find him, he didn't hide his aura. He didn't expect that he would attract the attention of the people from the heavenly netherworld divine nation. Seeing that they weren't from the Phoenix race, he immediately hid himself. Especially when he saw the word dark, he felt a bit disgusted. Because he thought of Ming Chun. He wondered if Ming Chun was an expert from the heavenly netherworld divine nation. I don't know why there are so many cultivators here. Could it be that they want to occupy the Phoenix nest? Etienne walked closer and closer to the phoenix nest. He found that there were a lot of cultivators in front of him. The strongest cultivator was at the void spirit stage, and the weakest cultivator was at the core transformation stage. There were at least 20 to 30 cultivators here, and all of them were at the core transformation stage or above. Among them, there were at least 4 or 5 void spirit stage experts. This was a shocking lineup. However, they all obediently stayed here and did not have any intention of attacking the phoenix nest. In front of them, there were 4 guards of the phoenix race. They all had the distinctive features of the phoenix race, phoenix feathers. They were also at the core transformation stage, and one of them was at the void spirit stage. Judging from their imposing manner, it could be said that they were overwhelming. The middle-aged man, who was the leader of the guards, was at the void spirit stage. There was a passage behind him, and it should lead to the inside of the phoenix nest. However, these people could only stay outside, and they didn't dare to step into the passage. The power of the phoenix race was not something that could be easily provoked. It seemed that these cultivators didn't come here to cause trouble. They must be here to negotiate something. No wonder no one came to stop me. It turns out that they have something to do. Etienne didn't go out. He just sat on the side and observed the situation. He didn't dare to go out as these people were here. After staying here for a long time, he finally heard a little movement inside the passage. A few figures came out and discussed with each other along the way. Elder Luo, I hope you can think about it carefully. I believe that except for us, there is absolutely no one who can solve this problem. A familiar voice came from inside, which made Etienne frown. He felt that the voice was very familiar, and he wondered if he heard it wrong. Soon, the figure came into view. It was a handsome man. He had never seen his face before, but the voice was very familiar. It was Ming Chun. Ming Chun, 6th layer Spirit King stage, wearing the divine armor of the Netherworld. The Netherworld fire surges around his body. Martial arts, Netherworld divine palm, Netherworld divine art, Netherworld dragon possession, etc. Weakness, extreme fire. Combat power, 320 million, normal state. Kill him, and you will get rewards. Ming Chun, Etienne's eyes turned cold. He didn't expect to meet an acquaintance here. Sure enough, the heavenly Netherworld divine nation was the force that Ming Chun belonged to. Thinking of what Ming Chun said, Etienne's eyes turned cold, and killing intent surged in his heart. Ming Chun looked at Etienne and quickly waved his hand. A Netherworld cold light pierced through Etienne's body. However, Etienne's reaction speed was faster than Ming Chun. He quickly dodged to the side and completely concealed his aura. Following that, the nether cold light penetrated through a dozen fire parasol trees and exploded at the side of a distant fire parasol tree. With a bang, a large area of fire parasol tree was burned and turned into ashes. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.